to everyone except J.J. McCarthy. It is the Drake Toll Show on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. Drake Toll with you from the Savannah Bananas organization, locked on Big 12, and right here on Westwood One Sports. Addie Bates produces. Laura Jimenez runs the board. 310-840-4910. The beautiful thing about that phone line is you don't have to just call or text it now. You can save it in your phone. Drake Toll, Westwood One Sports, 310-840-4910. We started the National Football League, where news out of Minnesota yesterday, the Vikings have named their starting quarterback, and his name is not J.J. McCarthy. I feel like it's fair to use the word bust. J.J. McCarthy is a bust, has been a bust in the National Football League. Yesterday, Warren Sharp tweeted that J.J. McCarthy, since coming into the league, has a negative .18 EPA. That's an efficiency metric. Is a 57.6 completion percentage and a 4.9% interception rate. A list of quarterbacks who have been as ass as J.J. McCarthy in the last decade include Anthony Richardson, Josh Rosen, Jimmy Clausen, and believe it or not, Shedeur Sanders. And now J.J. McCarthy has been benched. This doesn't start in 2026 with Kyler Murray coming in to compete for the job. This starts the day McCarthy's drafted, the day he gets to Minnesota, and the day he immediately becomes just annoying. Can I say that? Am I allowed to just tell you that he's, to not give a metric? I gave you the stats. Can I just say the thing that J.J. McCarthy's just kind of annoying? I don't relish. I'm not trying to put the guy down. He just got named the backup of Minnesota, who was the 10th overall pick in the NFL draft. But he got to the NFL and started referring to himself in the third person. You know these people. You work with these people, right? The school's back in session, right? Maybe you're a teacher, or school's back, and you're on your way to school right now. You're going to school, and you got the classmate. You're like, man, I really. God teaches us to love, huh? Like, oh. But that dude keeps referring to himself in the third person. There's a legendary story about Ryan Mallett. Remember Ryan Mallett played quarterback in the National Football League, was with the New England Patriots. They play a game in Miami. He gets left on the tarmac because he fell asleep and missed the team plane. He just had this kind of weird, tumultuous career. May he rest in peace, Ryan Mallett. When he was at Arkansas, the rumor goes he showed up to class one day, and he just reeks of grade A cannabis indica. And he walks in during exam day, and he sits down 15 minutes later. Everybody's got these little sheets of paper out that have the bubbles on them. And Ryan Mallett walks into the hall at the University of Arkansas and sits down. This is incredible. Like, this passed down through the ages in the state of Arkansas. Sits down in the middle of the room, and he goes, he's 15 minutes late. It's dead silent. They're taking a test. And he goes, "Hey, yo, any of y'all got a Scantron for Ryan Mallett?" And naturally, they all start, it was like, "Hey, it's Ryan Mallett, all SEC quarterback. Of course they have a Scantron for him." Everybody passes their Scantrons down. It gets real quiet again. Everybody's right back to doing their test. Ryan's just kind of sitting there, just dazing in and out. And he's looking at his little test, and he's looking around. Finally, a couple minutes pass. It's so quiet. He goes, "Hey, yo, any of y'all got a pencil for Ryan Mallett?" And of course, the whole class starts passing these pencils down, and now Ryan Mallett's got a Scantron on his pencil, and it's this legendary story. That's a version of a guy speaking the third person where you know what's going on there. You're like, all right, Ryan Mallett does football. The lights are on, and football player is home right now. For J.J. McCarthy, he walked into the Vikings facility and started referring to himself in the first person, third person, and in a really weird way, where you're like, that's not cool. That's not funny. Ryan Mallett might be high in class story. That's weird. I want to take you back to the beginning of J.J. McCarthy's time in Minnesota, when he told the world, I call him not. His football alter ego, it was doomed from this.
You go to a different place in your mind on game day?
I feel like I do. Yeah, there's definitely a level of a switch that gets flipped. For me, it's, that I call him 9. 9 comes out, and I got to understand, okay, he can't be at his peak performance throughout 3.5 hours.
He can't be at his peak performance throughout 3.5 hours. I call him 9. It's me. It's me waking up to do the morning radio show. It's not me. Those 3 hours. I'm in a different zone. I call him Toll. He wakes up. He's the guy on the radio. I don't know what. My eyes roll back in my head. And you could even argue, if you're a Michigan fan, that this started before the National Football League for J.J. McCarthy. It is the Drake Toll Show. Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app talking J.J. McCarthy getting benched for Kyler Murray in Minnesota as Murray was named the starting quarterback for the franchise yesterday. Listen to this, 310-840-4910. I've got a really good question for you, really good Sophie's Choice here today. 310-840-4910. You can weigh in your thoughts on Minnesota's new starting man. McCarthy in college at Michigan. Listen to these stats. Before Connor Stalions resigned, I'm about to go there. Listen to this. Remember Connor Stalions? He's the Michigan staffer who may have bought tickets to other college football games to sit in the front row and sign steal. And then there were rumors that he had infiltrated the Western Michigan sideline to help Michigan do this big, intricate cheating, ploy to find out other teams. And everybody's, oh wow, Michigan knows the plays. They know their opponent's plays because Connor Stalions scouted them out. Here are J.J. McCarthy's college stats when he had Connor Stalions, who was allegedly helping the team cheat, versus when he did not. In his 8 games prior to Connor Stalions being fired, he had a 78% completion percentage. In the 5 games after, a 68% completion percentage. In the 8 games he had Connor Stalions on the sideline at Michigan, 225 yards per game passing. In the 5 games after Connor Stalions resigned, 166 yards passing. And here's the real damning one. In those first 8 games with Stalions roaming the sidelines, 18 touchdowns, 3 interceptions for J.J. McCarthy. After Connor Stalions resigned, 1 touchdown, 1 interception in 5 games. Coincidence? I think not. I have a conspiracy theory. I don't think J.J. McCarthy, without Connor Stalions, is real. That guy right there is not real. I'm not buying into it. Since J.J. McCarthy and Connor Stalions were forced to part ways at Michigan, McCarthy has been a shell of a football player. 9 has been a shell of a football player, not just in the National Football League, but in college as well, and now he is benched. Now, the Minnesota Vikings will take their 10th overall pick in the 2024 NFL Draft. First round, 10th overall, and sit him on the pine. Last season, McCarthy was 32nd in the NFL with 1,632 yards. That's not very good for your starting quarterback. 11 touchdowns, was 29th in the NFL. 12 interceptions, that would be more interceptions than touchdowns, at a QBR of 35.6. If your ACT score could be someone's QBR, that's probably a pretty bad QBR. J.J. McCarthy, 35.6. The ACT goes to 36. So that's the old guard. That's the old guy. That's J.J. McCarthy. But is there a new reinvent? I mean, at this point, if you are McCarthy, do you just ask to be traded? Are you, for shame, have you just petered out so hard in Minnesota that you asked to be traded and go start somewhere fresh, go start somewhere new? J.J. McCarthy, would you want to be traded?
I think I made it very clear I wanted to be here before I got here. And I love this organization. I love the coaching staff. I absolutely love these players to death. This is where I want to be. I feel like I can thrive in this system. And, it's just, everything played out exactly how I wanted it. I wouldn't want anything else to change.
I mean, I don't know if everything's playing out exactly like we wanted it here. If we're the, true, if it was up to 9, I'm not sure if everything's played out exactly as you've wanted it. To have Kyler Murray come in from Arizona and Kyler Murray now be named the starting quarterback. Heck, again, we've heard a lot about J.J. McCarthy, the guy who got benched, but why? Why is Kyler Murray the starting quarterback? I want to go to Kevin O'Connell here first and give you the confirmation he gave the world yesterday to say Kyler Murray is the guy that the Minnesota Vikings trust as the starting quarterback.
I know there's a lot of kind of reports and things out there regarding our quarterback situation, and just wanted to start out and say, we did, after some dialogue in-house and just kind of daily, analyzing the overall of where we're at right now, we did name Kyler Murray our starting quarterback. From the outset of the offseason, I think we've been really intentional, open about, kind of the goal of creating just a competitive environment filled with wildly capable players that could then obviously elevate our quarterback room through that process, and in doing so, elevate our team.
310-840-4910. Kevin O'Connell just told you he went through an intentional process. He used every damn buzzword in the book. An intentional process, we do a deep thought, healthy competition. He said everything you've ever heard a National Football League coach say about a quarterback battle. Kevin O'Connell just gave you that exact same thing about the Minnesota Vikings weighing between J.J. McCarthy and Kyler Murray. So my question would be 310-840-4910. And maybe it's twofold. Would you want J.J. McCarthy to be the starting quarterback of your franchise? Genuinely. I mean, there are these situations where a quarterback is benched and you think, hey, what if, man, like if we made the right moves, could that guy be in this? I always thought this about Gardner Minshew. Anytime Gardner Minshew got benched, I'd always think, man, surely like Gardner Minshew could go somewhere and help somebody. I mean, Gardner Minshew seems he wins. He's this stopgap quarterback that walks into franchises and wins. If I ask you the question, would you take Gardner Minshew? You'd be like, yeah, I'd take Jameis Winston. I'd take Gardner Minshew. There are those lists, the little small list of names. You're like, hey, you know what? I'd experiment with it. Would you take J.J. McCarthy? I need somebody in America. We have 300-plus affiliates. There are radios across America right now. I need someone to answer yes. I don't think anyone will. I don't think Mike Pence has the courage right now. I don't think anybody's going to answer yes to this. Would you take J.J. McCarthy as your starting quarterback? 310-840-4910. That's kind of the hidden question behind the real question. Would you take Kyler Murray as your starting quarterback? The Minnesota Vikings just did. 310-840-4910. The Minnesota Vikings just got a guy who won, 50 straight games in high school? Go back to Allen High School in Texas. Goes to Oklahoma, is the number 1 overall draft pick by the Arizona Cardinals after a great college career despite being 5'3". AP NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year, Pro Bowl in back-to-back seasons in 2020 and 2021. I'm not done. Signed a 5-year deal for $230 million in Arizona in 2022, but tore his ACL week 14, and that sidelined him through most of 2023. Comes back in 24. Pretty good year. Throws for nearly 4,000 yards, 21 touchdowns, 11 picks. Rushes for 572 and 5 touchdowns. And in 2025, injured again. Misses a great portion of the back half of 2022. Misses a great portion of 2023 due to injury. 2025 misses a large majority of that season due to injury. We've seen Kyler Murray one complete season since 2021. And now he got a 1-year deal in Minnesota. Would you want Kyler Murray to be your quarterback? 310-840-4910. If you'd take McCarthy or Murray, or if Minnesota fans are just in football hell, I'll take your thoughts. The phone line, the text line is open on the Drake Toll Show, Westwood One Sports, and the Westwood One Sports app, talking Kyler Murray named the starting quarterback in Minnesota over J.J. McCarthy. We've heard from Kevin O'Connell. We've heard from J.J. McCarthy, 9. I guess the guy we haven't heard from on this whole thing yet is Kyler Murray, the Oklahoma kid, the Arizona Cardinal, the number 1 overall pick, who's now the starting quarterback of an NFL franchise in Minnesota. Take it away, Kyler Murray.
Feels good. Obviously, any competitor, you play this game, you want a chance to lead the guys on Sunday, and have opportunity to go win. I take this, this job with great pride. There's been a lot of great quarterback play here in the past, and I just hope to continue to carry that tradition on.
Take a lot of great pride. It's been a lot of great quarterback play here in the past. Okay. You have to help me unpack that. You have to help me point to it there in Minnesota. Kirk Cousins, is that the reference here? the Brett Favre experiment. I don't know about I don't know recently what we're talking about there, Kyler, but thank you. The new starting quarterback. Maybe he's mentioning Sam Darnold. What a flub that was. The Minnesota Vikings make the playoffs with Kevin O'Connell as the head coach and Sam Darnold as the quarterback and decide, we can send Sam Darnold to Seattle in order to get our guy, in order to get 9, to have J.J. McCarthy. Is that the worst trade in history? You sent Sam Darnold out west to Seattle to get J.J. McCarthy, who you just had to bench. The Minnesota Vikings go to the playoffs with Sam Darnold as their starting quarterback and then say goodbye to Sam Darnold so that J.J. McCarthy can come in for a year and then lose his starting job to Kyler Murray. At this rate, the way Murray's being injured, he doesn't have any legs. He's just arms and a torso with like a tourniquet down there trying to hold the whole thing together. Some field doctor's got scissors and glue. That's your starting quarterback. 310-840-4910. The phone lines stay open. Here's the thing, though. The problem does not end there for quarterbacks in the National Football League. May I introduce you to the saddest quarterback competition of all time that is still ongoing. This is coming up next on the Drake Toll Show.
Your favorite.
Nothing bad can happen. It can only good happen.
The New York Giants. Wow.
He was a tough cookie.
I will not hurt myself.
It is the saddest quarterback battle to ever be battled in the history of football. It's like the dump I took yesterday after lunch versus the one this morning. Just kidding. I physically can't defecate.
What?
Deshaun Watson versus Shedeur Sanders. Which one do you want? The Deshaun Watson $230 million mega deal is a real thing. And his tenure in the National Football League has been defined by a catastrophic mix of major injuries, extended absence. Hold on, extended absences. What is that? Yes, like a dozen different women coming forward and alleging different forms and versions of assault. And now he's still playing in the National Football League and is, for all intents and purposes, been exonerated from this. But we're talking about Deshaun Watson, who, like, if you had to rack your brain right now, when's the last time Deshaun Watson did something in the National Football League? What could you pinpoint? Where could you go to say, oh, yeah, that year that Deshaun Watson – and if I asked you, how old is Deshaun Watson? I don't know, probably 34 at this point. He's getting up there, right? No. We're talking about 30-year-old Deshaun Watson. Guy is a sneeze away from being 29 years old, Deshaun Watson, who's still in the National Football League playing for the Cleveland Browns. And since he started in Cleveland, he's actually, all 3 seasons he's been in Cleveland, thrown for over 1,000 yards. But never for more than 1,150. Deshaun Watson, a bust ever since his days in Houston that were actually pretty electric. He was a sneeze away from 5,000 yards in 2020, 4,823 of them. After that, then come the allegations. Deshaun Watson goes to Cleveland, and in Cleveland he has petered out into one of the most apoplectic quarterbacks at the position in the National Football League, that being bad. And who's he in a quarterback battle against? Shedeur Sanders, notably the son of Deion Sanders. It's Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app, the Drake Toll Show. Laura Jimenez runs the board, Addie Bates produces, and the Cleveland Browns are in the middle of the saddest quarterback competition of all time, 310-840-4910. If the question was, would you take Kyler Murray as your starting quarterback, or would you take J.J. McCarthy as your starting quarterback? Can I do you one better? What about Shedeur Sanders and Deshaun Watson? What's funny to me, too, and you probably get this, is you turn your TV on, your radio on, and when people are having this conversation, it's so high level. Oh, Shedeur, he walks out to practice, and his mechanics, he's got this young step. He's the young buck you possibly build around. And Deshaun Watson's competing, and he's a veteran of the game, and he knows the game well. Like, who, in a world where Deshaun Watson and Shedeur Sanders are two guys competing in a quarterback competition against one another, who is having a serious breakdown of like, wow, both these guys are really getting after it. Wow, what a competition. To call it a competition is almost an embarrassment of the word competition. Mary Kay Cabot, friend of the program, has been on the show, covers the Browns closer than maybe anyone. She's on the beat in Cleveland at training camp yesterday and tweets out, #Browns Deshaun Watson throws 9th pick in 12 practices. I love every update that comes out of the Browns camp. There was the update a couple of days ago that during 1-minute drills, they send Shedeur out there. Hey, Shedeur, you get out there. We're going to run 1-minute drill. It's the end of half situation. First half, second half, we need to go score. Let's run this and see what happens. Tweet comes from Ashley Bastock. Says, #end of practice, 1 minute, end of half situation. Sanders up first. The drive ends with 2 false starts on the offensive line. No! Todd Monken's over there, the new head coach of the Browns, throwing stuff. No, it's not. You can't do that. Deshaun, where's Watson? Watson, you get out there. 1-minute drill. Come on, offense. Come on, do it. And either the Browns have the best defense in the world, they have the 85 Bears on defense, or their quarterbacks just suck. Because Deshaun Watson runs out there, 1-minute drill, 2 incompletions, a sack, an illegal formation, and a false start. Todd Monken throws clipboard, ends practice, and Ashley Bastock says, looks like he threw something. We're talking about a Cleveland Browns. This is the direction of your NFL franchise, is between Shedeur Sanders and Deshaun Watson. 310-840-4910. Brian in Columbus texts, lifelong Brown fan. Wow. Pause. We have to stop there. That's dead today, Brian in Columbus. Lifelong Browns fan. Tough existence to have. Brian says, lifelong Browns fan of the show. I think at this point, just let it be Shedeur for the storyline. Okay, a couple things to unpack here. Again, lifelong Browns fan, that's tough. Number two is, if you are in a place as a fan where you're talking about your franchise having a quarterback or a player start or a player in the rotation because of the storyline, that's not good. That's not where you want to be. But I actually agree with Brian, 310-840-4910. Between the two, you know what you're going to get out of Deshaun Watson, and that is bad, old and bad. Jersey sales aren't going to skyrocket for Deshaun Watson. There are people, surely there are organizations pouring blood on people who wear Deshaun Watson jerseys, the way they do those fur coats that you wear downtown. You're not buying that. That's not getting you any new viewership. That's not getting you any pomp and circumstance. But the name Sanders is. And it's worked out really well for Deion at Colorado. When Shedeur was at Colorado, the GDP of Boulder grew by 33%. Deion Sanders, Shedeur Sanders, that name, that family is a money-making machine. If Shedeur Sanders is your starting quarterback, then you've got an opportunity to at least build storylines, to Brian's point. And we're at the point, if you're the Cleveland Browns, damn, building storylines might be the only thing you've got. Because winning football games, again, unless I'm off base and Cleveland has the best defense of all time after just giving up Myles Garrett, unless they have the best defense of all time and they're just running amok in spring training because of that, which I do not think is the case, there are foundational issues still with the Cleveland Browns that have not been eradicated, and their quarterback options are Deshaun Watson and Shedeur Sanders. They start their season at Jacksonville, loss. At Tampa, loss. Carolina at home. You got a fighter's chance there. I'll give you a fighter's chance against a team who went to the playoffs last year, by the way. Pittsburgh, loss. You go on the road against the New York Jets. Hell, I might just give the Browns a loss in that one for the hell of it. Before playing Baltimore, Tennessee, then going Pittsburgh, New Orleans, Houston, the Cleveland Browns. I look up and down the schedule and say, who's worse? Who's worse in the NFL than Cleveland? Maybe Tennessee, maybe the Jets, both of which are the first half of your schedule. Outside of that, I can help you scrounge together 5-6 wins tops if Deshaun Watson or Shedeur Sanders are your quarterback, and those are your only two options. Sorry, Dylan Gabriel is somewhere in there. Let's take you to the man who has the worst job in the world. This is like, I wish Mike Rowe would have done this. World's worst jobs? Dirtiest jobs? He should have been the Browns head coach for a day. Here's Todd Monken on his quarterback battle. Shedeur Sanders and Dylan Gabriel.
And then you mentioned that Deshaun's is better.
Hold on. What was that?
So that's what I'm asking. Were you saying,
I said Deshaun's better?
Were you saying that he's gotten better since camp, or that he is better than Shedeur? I want to make sure.
I don't think I threw in there that he's better than Shedeur. I'm not sure I went that far, but I appreciate you trying to trap me in that.
I'm not.
Yeah. What? I mean, we went from, you're the head coach of the Browns, you got to hold this whole thing together, to a reporter saying, hey, coach, you've said that Deshaun is better. And what the reporter is saying is pretty clear to me. He's just saying Deshaun Watson has gotten better, that Deshaun's progression is better. But Todd Monken's like, oh, yeah, you're going to try to get me, huh? You're going to try to get me there. No, I'm just saying you've mentioned that Deshaun is better. No, not better than Shedeur, but he's gotten better. Nope, you're not going to trap me. If those are the answers we're getting from the head coach, which I can't imagine being the head coach of a team who's in a battle between Deshaun Watson and Shedeur Sanders. But what a crushing response if you're a fan, if you're Brian from Columbus, who's a fan of the Cleveland Browns, not only has to watch this slop on the field at training camp, but also has to reckon with the fact that your head coach can't answer simple questions because he gets offended, because he's looking to get offended. Deshaun Watson, Shedeur Sanders, Dylan Gabriel. Taylor Green, the Arkansas quarterback, somewhere in there. all of them bad. It is the Drake Toll Show, Westwood One Sports, the Westwood One Sports app. Phone line, text lines open, 310-840-4910. You can choose between any of the four: Kyler Murray, J.J. McCarthy, Deshaun Watson, and Shedeur Sanders. Would you take any at quarterback? Would you be excited about your NFL franchise? Would you be excited about this season if any of those guys were your quarterback? 310-840-4910. Let's go deeper into this whole J.J. McCarthy thing and some context around how McCarthy's not alone for a list of recent names that have been benched or just stunk in the National Football League. And it's gotten to the point where some find it uncanny. It is the Drake Toll Show, Westwood One Sports, the Westwood One Sports app with Addie Bates producing. Good morning, Addie. Can I bounce this one off you?
Ooh, of course.
All right, so Sam Block tweets at the Block Spot. J.J. McCarthy, benched. Justin Fields, benched. He says benched after every name. I'm just going to read the names. J.J. McCarthy, Justin Fields, Zach Wilson, Dylan Gabriel, Anthony Richardson. We can park there here in a second. Kenny Pickett, Trey Lance, Mac Jones, Will Levis, the mayonnaise guy. All of them benched in the last 3 seasons. Block says the NFL has a quarterback development problem. The fact that Trey Lance, Will Levis, Dylan Gabriel, Zach Wilson are all benched, does that mean the National Football League has an issue?
No, absolutely not, because there are a million other players who can just prove you otherwise, okay? But here's the deal. I think there's a scouting issue. I think that we're looking at the wrong things. I think these guys are good college quarterbacks, but they aren't good NFL quarterbacks. There is a difference. We saw that 20 years ago with Vince Young, okay? What was he? He was fantastic in college. Yeah, sure, there were some issues with the Wonderlick that he wasn't really great at, but his play style was never going to work in the National Football League. And that's kind of the same thing with these quarterbacks. You're going to sit here and tell me that Dylan Gabriel, it's because we're not developing him, or maybe he just was never meant to be an NFL quarterback.
Good to be a foreign. It does seem as though people are misremembering that it is not a foreign concept for a guy to get to NFL and not be good, for a guy to be bad in NFL. And also, think about the quarterbacks come out of the college ranks every year. How many quarterbacks are drafted? Between 15 and 25 each season? There are 32 NFL teams. And if you there are years where the first round, there are 5 or 6 quarterbacks taken. I know we haven't had as loaded of draft classes the last 2 years for the quarterback position, or at least last year for the quarterback position. But there are seasons where 5 guys are taken in the first round. 8 guys are taken in the first round at the quarterback position. And the fact that they're not all panning out can't be an indictment on the entire NFL.
No, absolutely correct. I think that's just you're taking a handful of guys, but look at other young quarterbacks. Look at people who have actually, if you want to argue it's a development issue, okay, Bryce Young, starting quarterback. You could even say Tyler Shuck, even though he's not great, but I mean, he's earned that role. They could have gone and gotten someone else. They could have drafted someone else early on. The Saints could have. There are enough quarterbacks that kind of prove that wrong. And yes, everybody, let's pay attention to hand size. Let's look at the fingers. Maybe we should go into the brain to just see if they understand the game like they're supposed to. Because some of these guys, if you have to go into another spot, if you have to become 9, maybe you're not suited for this.
Well, and to push back on this take that the NFL has a quarterback development problem, listen to this. 2024 draft had 6, because 6 is the max you've ever taken in the first round. But there are years of 5 or 6 guys. Caleb Williams, I mean, that's working out pretty damn well in Chicago. Took the team to the postseason last year. Got a win in the postseason in a legendary comeback against the Packers. Awesome. Jaden Daniels, that's working out fine for the Commanders. They're ahead of schedule with Jaden Daniels. I would say his rookie season was incredible. Drake May was a vote shy of the MVP. Michael Penix Jr., it's okay. We don't have to talk about that one. J.J. McCarthy and Bo Nix. Bo Nix started in a conference championship game last year for Denver, and in that, Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Drake May, Bo Nix. Hell, 4 of those guys already out of the 2024 draft class, a loaded quarterback class, the last loaded quarterback class we had. 4 of those guys are already well on the way in the National Football League. Penix and J.J. McCarthy notwithstanding, they're a part of the conversation for guys who aren't developed. But heck, if those guys were all taken in the top 12 picks, of those 6 names, for 4 of them to already be quarterbacks that you want in your franchise, showcases. 4 of those guys were drafted in just 2024 that are already mainstays in the National Football League. There is not a development problem. Some guys just aren't ready for the NFL and won't be ready for the NFL. Hello, J.J. McCarthy.
The other thing is that some of these quarterbacks are coming from organizations. The Vikings, who haven't had a consistent quarterback, they've had a different quarterback every season. Okay, that's one of the Browns are known for as the death of the quarterback. The Colts, you're gonna trust them with the quarterback? Like, come on.
Daniel Jones. Watch out. They just paid him. They just paid Daniel Jones. He's their quarterback. Don't badmouth the Colts, man. They know QBs. They know QBs when they see them. When we return, let's hear from Aaron Rodgers in an exclusive one-on-one. I'm going to take you to Steelers training camp where he enlightens and shows us the depths of the mind. Rodgers, you can win a Super Bowl in Pittsburgh? Let's ask him. This is Westwood One Sports, the Westwood One Sports app. This is the Drake Toll Show. Rodgers. Man, people want to talk storylines off the field. They want to talk about Rodgers and his family. They want to talk about Rodgers and his wife. They want to talk anything but Aaron Rodgers and football. And ladies and gentlemen, we have him now, Aaron Rodgers. I do want to talk about the game itself and how you've been able to develop as the quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers under Mike McCarthy. Aaron, how is training camp going so far?
I started deep on a journey where the ayahuasca is usually described as a grandmother spirit. And I met her and walked with her through past, present, and future lives. And it was the most beautiful experience I could possibly imagine. I literally was able to ask her question after question about things that were on my mind and have the most beautiful journey I could possibly imagine.
Okay, that's not where I thought we would take this. Aaron, just being back with the team at training camp, saying goodbye to the offseason, what's that been like?
The overwhelming sense of sadness and grief of what I was leaving behind. Mm-hmm. I just sat with that for hours, probably 2 hours, as I was begging grandmother to let me purge whatever was inside of me and needed to come out. And she said, not yet. Not yet, my son. There's more.
Aaron, if we're talking football, just strictly football, what's going through your brain on the field?
Incredible experiences from the past, heartbreak, failures, frustrations, deep, deep sadness. And then I purged at about 4:30 in the morning, finally, and laid there afterwards on my mat and then opened my eyes, and it felt like I was opening my eyes for the first time.
Aaron Rodgers, everybody. Wow. That's the perfect segue to today's biggest losers of the day. No, couldn't land Aaron Rodgers in a one-on-one today. But I was floored when this week's latest on Aaron Rodgers included taking grandma through his ayahuasca trip. There's one guy who spent his career. Remember when Aaron Rodgers won the Super Bowl as the quarterback of the Green Bay Packers? People forget that. People forget the Packers beating the Steelers for the Super Bowl. Aaron Rodgers was the quarterback. And since then, was that 16 years ago? Since then, Aaron Rodgers and every storyline around Aaron Rodgers in off seasons has been all but football, and instead ayahuasca trips and the grandma spirit leading him into the great unknown of places of sadness and grief. I'm somehow confident, despite how vocal Aaron Rodgers is on, going to the Pat McAfee show on ESPN and making political comments and being outspoken about some of the stranger conspiracy theories of the world. I am pretty confident after he retires at the end of this season, that will be the last that we hear of Aaron Rodgers. We will get to be done for a little bit with the Aaron Rodgers experience. Keeping our biggest losers of the day, it is the Drake Toll Show, Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. Drake Toll with you alongside Addie Bates and Laura Jimenez. Biggest loser, Anthony Richardson. Ari Mirov tweets, the hashtag Colts will start Anthony Richardson at quarterback on Thursday night in their preseason opener against the hashtag Patriots, a potential trade showcase with his trade request still in place. Daniel Jones is the guy who just got paid by the Colts to be their quarterback. Anthony Richardson did not. There is no trust. There is no faith in Indianapolis in Anthony Richardson, and they're going to give him an opportunity to show his best on Thursday so he can be traded. It helps the Colts if he plays well. It helps Anthony Richardson if he plays well. Can be traded to a better situation, and the Colts can get a better trade package if he can show something on Thursday that is a semblance of being an NFL quarterback. Anthony Richardson has not been one of those in a while. And he is another example of a quarterback fall apart in the National Football League for guys like J.J. McCarthy that they go through. Deshaun Watson. The battles that we're seeing across the country that are falling flat. Like, would you take Anthony Richardson as your quarterback? 310-840-4910. Phone lines, text lines still open. Keeping it for our biggest losers of the day. J.J. McCarthy. Let's go right back to him. Who has been benched by the Minnesota Vikings. And I'm going to bring this up a few times today because it's the most stark example of McCarthy's career going downhill in college before he even got to the National Football League. Listen to this. In his 8 games before Connor Stallions was fired, remember Connor Stallions? He was the Michigan staffer who was allegedly scouting other teams, going to their games, standing on the sideline, learning their plays, possibly stealing plays ahead of Michigan football games. So when J.J. McCarthy stepped out there as the quarterback for the Blue, he had an inkling of what the defense would run because Stallions was in his ears. Well, in the 8 games with Stallions roaming the sideline, McCarthy had a 78 completion percentage, 225 yards per game, and 18 touchdowns to 3 interceptions. In the 5 games after, his completion percentage dropped by 10 points to 68%. His passing yards per game dropped by over 50 yards from 225 to 166. And in his last 5 games of the season without Connor Stallions, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. After throwing 18 touchdowns and 3 picks in his first 8 games. Since Connor Stallions has been away from J.J. McCarthy has not been a quarterback. His skid late in his college season to his skid in the NFL. I think we've seen the last of old number 9. How about our biggest winner of the day? Can we have one of those? Our biggest winner of the day on the Drake Toll Show, Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app, is Raiders quarterback Fernando Mendoza. Fernando. Klint Kubiak, the new head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders, has now declared that Mendoza will get plenty of reps in their preseason opener, and against the Arizona Cardinals, he will be the focal point. Mendoza will have an opportunity to prove himself in front of the nation this week in the preseason. This comes in the wake of Maxx Crosby and Kirk Cousins getting in a fight last Friday, where the edge for the Las Vegas Raiders, Crosby came through the line a couple times at 11-on-11 and hit Kirk Cousins. Remember, the quarterback's got the red jersey on. Don't hit the quarterback. Maxx Crosby did it twice, and Klint Kubiak responded by suspending both Crosby and Kirk Cousins for Saturday's practice. And finally, we have audio from Klint Kubiak, the head coach of the Raiders, who spoke for the first time on the Crosby and Cousins skirmish.
Yeah, that's training camp. You know, those 2 leaders of our team going at it. So that is part of camp. Obviously, you fight in the game, you throw a punch in the game, especially then you're out of the game. So we got to be smart, treat it like a game.
Addie Bates, local ball knower. You hear that from the head coach Klint Kubiak and say, rat's ass, that's invalid.
Gosh darn it, don't touch the quarterback. Do not tackle the quarterback. Do not hit him. I understand that these are, they're championship mindsets, whatever. They're very smart. They're leaders on the game. This isn't a game. No, I understand that. That's fine. But do not hit your quarterback. I don't know why that's an insane concept. I know people are saying Clint's doing a good job leading this team right now. I know some people on the network have been saying that, and I'll be the odd one out. Maybe I'm the odd one out. Maybe I'm crazy, and that's fine. You can call in and tell me I am, and I'll believe you. But that's not good leadership. That is not leadership.
Yeah, I would say if a wide receiver and a cornerback get into a little hand fighting, a little scuffle, like a rookie and a vet, like, yeah, all right, get him, Trent McDuffie. Yeah, you tell him. Come on, teach him a thing or two. When veteran edge is tackling veteran quarterback at training camp and you play for the same team, I'm going to put that down in the bad category if I can.
Yes. Because you're injuring the one guy that you need. I mean, yes, they have Fernando Mendoza, but we really haven't seen him to the extent that we've seen Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong.
And now we'll see Fernando Mendoza as the starting quarterback for the Raiders this week. This is good news. Again, he was our biggest winner of the day in this context. Number 1 overall pick. We'll at least get his during the preseason. The Raiders have already announced going into the year Kirk Cousins is the starting quarterback, and he will run with the ones in 2026. I'm hoping for the sake of Maxx Crosby, who really wants to win, for Raiders fans who want to win, Kirk Cousins is not going to get you to the playoffs. Kirk Cousins is not going to have a late career coming of age. Old man Cousins just becomes old man Tom Brady the way that Tom's back half of his career went. I don't foresee that. I think Mendoza is your option to win in the future. And if you're telling me Mendoza won't play this year, that Mendoza won't start this year, you're going with Kirk Cousins, you're telling me you are not willing to compete. You're not.
The best part of that, by the way, was you singing Fernando to Orlando by the Book of Mormon, not Fernando by ABBA.
Yeah, that's good. I'm going to Salt Lake City today. I fly out today. So the Book of Mormon, the Broadway musical, it's top of mind. Orlando. Dang. Wow. Addie Bates produces. Laura Jimenez runs the board. She caught me. I got caught. You just wait when we return. This wide receiver just bit someone. Oh, yeah. Who is it? He's a star. It's the Drake Toll Show.
This is Westwood.
wise woman once told me, don't bite people. That woman was my preschool teacher. I was 3.5 years old. And somehow that advice is something that could have been reiterated and probably should have been reiterated to Puka Nacua, the Los Angeles Rams wide receiver, the former BYU Cougar, who has taken the NFL by storm and has also taken the ladies by storm. Puka has been marred in off-season. We kind of forgot about this. Did you? I think I forgot about this, to be transparent. When maybe I'm part of the problem. Puka Nacua has one of the better NFL seasons we've seen from a wide receiver in the 2020s. Leads the league in receptions, 129 of them last year for the Rams. This is a fifth-round pick, by the way, Puka Nacua. 129 receptions, 1,715 yards. That was second in the National Football League. 10 touchdowns, by the way. Puka Nacua was dominant in helping the Rams win and will be dominant this year again in helping the Rams that are Super Bowl favorites right now. Anybody you ask across Las Vegas, they are the odds-on favorites to win the Super Bowl. But the problem with Puka Nacua is he may be a biter. And he starts today's obituaries. Dead today, Puka Nacua. Sleeper NFL. Puka Nacua could still face a suspension for his offseason behavior, per Adam Schefter. What is that offseason behavior? In parentheses, bit a woman / anti-Semitic remarks. In the same way that they say, Bijan Robinson is out, and in parentheses it just says foot. Puka Nacua could still face a suspension for offseason behavior. In brackets, bit a woman, anti-Semitic remarks. It's still being reviewed by the NFL, but it is possible when the Rams versus 49ers play in Australia here in a few Wednesdays to open the NFL season. Puka Nacua does not play in that game. This is right alongside Nacua exiting training camp with groin soreness. Not only was Nacua a guy sidelined in training camp, but so was Myles Garrett over the course of yesterday. It's second consecutive practice that Garrett missed. And the Rams were without Puka Nacua for a portion of practice after he left early, citing, again, groin soreness, which brought back up the fact that Puka Nacua might not play an entire NFL season in 2026 because of biting people and anti-Semitic remarks. It is the Drake Toll Show on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. Drake Toll with you. Addie Bates produces. Laura Jimenez runs the board. 310-840-4910. You can call or text the show all day long. Addie Bates. When did you first learn not to bite people?
In a non-consensual way, very young age. As a kid, when I was a kid.
Pause. Just throw that out there. Just give that a second to breathe. Puka Nacua, anti-Semitic remarks, biting a woman. I've mentioned this multiple times. If you want to crash a car very fast and evade police, if you would like to kidnap and rob people, if you want to drunk drive, the best place to do it is probably the National Football League. You being an NFL player, you can be exonerated from many things. I had forgotten for probably a month on end that Puka Nacua had, maybe bit a woman and made really anti-Semitic bad remarks because, he is good at football. We once again give you a free pass if good at football.
My favorite was if you can look up the picture of the bite. Like, that is
it's a good bite.
It's a whole ass bite.
Yeah. It's a good bite. He got all. And we have dental records now too. When you die, the first thing they look at your teeth. They're like, I don't know if it's him. Check the teeth. So we can take Puka Nacua's bite and corroborate it with the arm of this poor lady. Now look, some people are into things. Bedroom door closes, and then some crazy things can happen. This wasn't even like a bedroom situation. This is like Puka's at a bar, and he's just like, no, Puka hungry. Sorry. My bad. And then thought we could just move on. And then on his way out, it's like, also, here's what I think about the Jewish community. Like, no! Stop! Stop!
As he's getting escorted out by security, he's like, wait.
I got one more thing. Then calls out the rabbis of the world. He's like, Puka, don't do this. Don't say it. He's like, I'm going to say it.
Puka, no.
It's the scene in oh man, Talladega Nights. Ricky Bobby, where they walk into the bar. That's what it is. You've seen it. That's not too niche. You've seen Talladega Nights.
Of course.
Ricky Bobby.
Put a Talladega Nights meme in this rundown today.
And it's Will Ferrell struggling so hard as Sacha Baron Cohen is about to break his arm. It's like, come on, just say I like crepes. Just say I like crepes. It's like, I'm not going to do it.
Oh, those are those thin pancakes? Oh, I love them. Oh, yeah, those are good. Those are good. So then just say.
That's all you got to do. Just say I like thin pancakes. That's a fair compromise, right? No, I can't do it. I can't do it. They're like, Puka, don't say anything anti-Semitic or racist. He's like, I can't do it. I got to do it. It's like, don't, please. Puka Nacua, dead today. Also dead today. Can you try on J.J. McCarthy for size? Per ESPN yesterday, Kyler Murray named the Week 1 starting quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings. Jagger May tweets, au revoir, J.J. McCarthy, au revoir. Once again, Sacha Baron Cohen, Talladega Nights, cigarette in hand. Great movie. I forgot just how good the movie is. I watched it on a plane again 2 or 3 weeks ago and came back. There are cumulative 20 quotes in that movie you can go right back to.
Yeah.
When he hits him with it, this is my husband, Gregory. And the whole place, profiling reasons. I think just that bar scene specifically, there are 4 or 5 quotes out of there from John C. Reilly, Sacha Baron Cohen, and Will Ferrell that rock. That movie's great, man. Dudes rock. I forget that sometimes. Then you watch you watch Blades of Glory, The Iron Lotus, and you're right back. You're right back.
If you could dream it, you could do it.
It's provocative. It's provocative. Final obituary, dead today. Kyler Murray. Man, I don't know. You can kill both of them. J.J. McCarthy and Kyler Murray, both those guys. The Minnesota Vikings are fighting a quarterback battle with J.J. McCarthy, who is bad at quarterback, and Kyler Murray, who is hurt at quarterback. We've only seen Kyler play 1 full season since 2021, and now he's the starting quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings. Here's why I don't think J.J. McCarthy should be too upset with the whole deal, because the odds aren't that bad that at some point in the year, Murray gets hurt or misses extended time, and in comes J.J. McCarthy to fill the quarterback spot. Murray, again, has played 1 complete season. It was a pretty good season. That was 2024. 1 complete season since 2021. And since then, it's just not. He's just Kyler Murray. What you had with Sam Darnold for the Minnesota Vikings a year ago was probably a lot better than having a quarterback battle with J.J. McCarthy and Kyler Murray. Now, we did hear from Kyler Murray on the entire deal, and this is a really almost apoplectic. He just sounds weird. Here's Kyler Murray on being named the starter.
Feels good. Obviously, any competitor, you play this game, you want a chance to lead the guys on Sunday, and have opportunity to go win. I take this this job with great pride. There's been a lot of great quarterback play here in the past, and I just hope to continue to carry that tradition on.
It's been a lot of great quarterback play in the past in Minnesota. I think Matt Castle was there for a year. I mean, Kirk Cousins started his career there. Or did he start with Washington?
There was a lot of quarterback. I don't know if I would say great, but there have been quarterbacks, that's for sure.
They have had some of the quarterbacks of all time. They've been rotating them every year, once a year for the last decade. But okay, thank you, Kyler, for your for your sentiment, but lack of historical context for the Minnesota Vikings. Kyler Murray is their starting quarterback. Good luck. Godspeed, Minnesota Vikings fans. 310-840-4910. How do you feel? 310-840-4910. Those are our obituaries. It is time for the Quickie. Top 5 headlines in all of sports. Addy Bates reads them. Drake Toll responds. Please don't ask me anything about the Red Sox and Blue Jays' 16-minute delay.
Here's your first headline. Bears Kobe.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. I was only talking.
This is bad. I know this is bad. 20 seconds. No one could explain it to me last night. Can you explain again what happened in the Red Sox Blue Jays game?
Oh my God. I called my dad and explained this to him last night as well. Okay.
Pretend I'm your dad. Don't make it weird.
No, I don't like that, actually. He's Mexican, you're blonde, so this is already a little different.
Great.
So basically what happened is everybody on the field kind of forgot that what the count was, like how many outs there were, everything.
Okay.
The scoreboard also got it wrong. It said there were 2 outs. So if let's say you're on third and 2 outs, okay, someone hits the ball, what do you do?
Someone hits the ball in the air, fly ball.
Yeah, but there's 2 outs.
Oh, then I'm walking to the dugout. Yeah.
Or, you're just running on contact because you don't know what's going on, right?
Yes, you're right.
So the ball is in the air, and the scoreboard changes from 2 outs to 1 out because there was 1 out. But here's the deal. This wasn't like an inning where people had scored. Like, everybody on the field just forgot how many outs there were. So even though he didn't tag up, he just went because he thought it was 2 outs. They
From
went
third
back
to home.
Yeah, they went back and they reviewed everything. Nobody really knew how many outs there were. Like, it was a colossal failure. And so then what they did is there's a rule in MLB where they allowed him to run. Now, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. The Red Sox still lost.
Yeah.
But the scoreboard was off, and everybody was going off of that, too.
So, 1 out. Guy catches a fly ball. Dude from third did not tag up, just walked home. How did they not call him out at third?
Because it's a rule check. I'm trying to find the exact. So here it is. You ready?
Yep.
MLB Rule 5.09C4.
Good.
Appeal play may require an umpire to recognize an apparent 4th out. If the 3rd out is made during a play in which an appeal play is sustained on another runner, the appeal play decision takes precedent in determining the out. If there is more than 1 appeal during a play that ends a half inning, the defense may elect to take the out that gives it the advantage. For the purpose of this rule, the defensive team has left the field when the pitcher and all infielders have left fair territory on their way to the bench or clubhouse.
Okay. Well, I am a little less confused. Progress. All right.
So, like, the managers thought that the inning was over because the home plate umpire, Charlie Ramos, waved off the run and said that during all the confusion, he was never given the opportunity to appeal Siegler not tagging up from third.
Gotcha. Okay. And since so yeah, all right, I'm more there now. It's almost like you were so confused, the rules ate themselves, and so you just have to let them score. Don't question it.
Just let them score.
Yep.
All right. Well, here's your first real headline. Bears Kobe Bryant undergoes knee surgery, and he'll be out 4 to 6 months. Ooh.
Kansas kid, man. Good, really good defensive back, and a pretty pivotal piece for what the Bears had expected to utilize in their defense this year. And with Bryant not out there, I mean, hey, this can go unsaid. Bad, worse. Had surgery on August 7th, so a few days ago. We probably won't see him in 2026-27. His season is likely over. That's a big blow for the Bears. It's a half minute. We got to hurry a little bit.
New York Yankees strike $2.6 billion financing deal with Apollo.
They sold their soul. The Yankees sold their soul. 310-840-4910. I'll take your calls and texts on this. I saw a lot of Yankees fans, Major League Baseball fans, that were upset about the Yankees making this move. Well, how much money did you say?
$2.6 billion.
Billion, yeah. So this private equity.
Yes.
I was reading about it last night. Selling out private equity for $2.6 billion. I mean, now look, I'd do a lot of things for $2.6 billion, but you're the Yankees. Selling out like that, I don't think it's going to. I mean, now somebody else becoming an effective brain trust for the New York Yankees, that can't end well. I don't like it. It's a minute.
CBS says there's no timetable on Romo's future after arrest.
He did drive drunk, inebriated, intoxicated, if you will. So there's that piece here. I'm excited to see how J.J. Watt does. I'm rooting for Tony Romo. I don't hate Romo as much as the rest of the world. I'm not completely out on the guy. I would like to see a rise to a resurgence to glory for Romo. I just don't think it's going to happen. I think what CBS will likely do is just go with J.J. Watt in the booth permanently with Jim Nantz, and we can't get around that. I think a majority of fans that I've heard from would agree their viewing experience is better without Tony Romo. So maybe this is good for the world, and I'm just not. I should hate Tony Romo in the booth more than I do, because I don't.
Here's your next headline. Champion Knicks to face Sixers, LeBron, and NBA triple header.
Yeah. Even cooler. Christmas Day, Spurs at the Knicks. Yeah. The NBA releasing its schedule yesterday. Opening night, Celtics, Pistons, Sixers, and Knicks. It's going to be awesome. I'm excited to see the Knicks beat the Sixers by 28 points so we can stop talking about LeBron James. It's a minute.
Final headline. Awful Cal Raleigh takes blame as Mariners lose 5th game in a row.
They're bad. They're still in the running in the AL West, too, because the entire AL West is so putrid. I think the Astros, they're the only team above 500 at 61-60. Rangers sit at 60-60. The Mariners 5.5 games back of Houston for the first spot. They're still somehow in the running in the West, and there's still time to clean it up. But Cal Raleigh has been unequivocally a part of the problem this year for the Mariners. They are bad.
It's great. I love to see it. Those are your headlines for the day.
Let's take you out to... He's back. He's so back. Let's take you out to Minnesota to the Vikings Radio Network. Did the Vikings just make a terrible mistake by naming Kyler Murray their starting quarterback? That's up next. This is the Drake Toll Show. New man on the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings have elected to start Kyler Murray in 2026 as their signal caller. 310-840-4910. If you're a Vikings fan, boy, I would just love to hear from you. 310-840-4910. You can call or text the Drake Toll Show, Westwood One Sports, the Westwood One Sports app. The Vikings put themselves between a rock and a hard place, between J.J. McCarthy and Kyler Murray. Now, this isn't near as bad as the quarterback battle we talked about for a large portion of the show today between Deshaun Watson and Shedeur Sanders in Cleveland. But this is by no means good. We're sponsored by Progressive Commercial Insurance, protecting small businesses with affordable coverage options. Quote today at progressivecommercial.com. Minnesota Vikings going with Kyler Murray are going with a guy who has been injured. The best ability is availability, and Kyler Murray has played one complete NFL season since the year 2020. One complete, full, really good, valuable, I played 17 game. Kyler Murray's gotten one of those in his back pocket, and that was in Arizona in 2024. Now, in that season, he was good. He was good in 2024. 17 games. 69% completion percentage. It's a career high for him. 3,800 yards, 21 touchdowns to 11 interceptions. Those numbers could be better, but 500 rushing yards to go with it. Kyler Murray was good. And you'll remember when Kyler Murray first got to the NFL, he was Rookie of the Year. He threw for 3,700 yards, rushed for 500. You thought from the jump, from 2019, oh, shoot, Kyler Murray has an opportunity to be a franchise quarterback in the National Football League. Now look at him. He goes from Arizona after playing 5 games last season due to injury. Heck, he only played 8 games in 2023 due to injury. He missed 5 games in 2022 due to injury, even a few games in 2021 due to injury. The guy who's been banged up walks into Minnesota and steals the job from 9. Steals the job from J.J. McCarthy, who is the starting quarterback for the Vikings a year ago and the 10th overall pick in the NFL draft. Can you say flop? I don't think we have a Jared Goff situation on our hands. You'll remember that Jared Goff was kind of this contentious member of the NFL. Nobody thought Jared Goff was going to be what he is with the Detroit Lions back when he was playing in a fledgling part of his career with the LA Rams. Goff got to the NFL, started for the Rams, and his first 2 seasons, there were question marks around Jared Goff. Even toward the end of his tenure in L.A., the passing yards were still there, but the touchdowns were down, the interceptions were up, and you wondered after his first season, okay, is Goff going to be an NFL quarterback? And then it's like this ebb and flow, and I didn't think Jared Goff was going to walk into Detroit and be a 4,000-yard passer each of the last 4 years, a 4,500-yard passer each of the last 3 years. Jared Goff has done that. He has revitalized his career and seen a resurgence in the NFL. You want a better example than Jared Goff of guys who have come out of nowhere and just dominated all of a sudden? Of guys who 3 years ago, if you said, hey, this dude's going to be legit, this dude's going to be an everyday starter, you want this dude on your fantasy football team? You know who I would have put on that list? Sam Darnold. The same Sam Darnold who goes to Carolina from the New York Jets, who tried to destroy his career, goes to Carolina, who also tried to destroy his career. He's bad in his stint in Carolina, finds himself in San Francisco as a backup for a year. Then Minnesota's like, I don't know, shoot, man, fine, we'll take Sam Darnold. They bring him in. He throws for 4,300 yards and 35 touchdowns just to go out west to Seattle and win the Super Bowl. I don't think J.J. McCarthy is going to be that. How am I tying in Sam Darnold or Jared Goff to J.J. McCarthy? I'm telling you the examples of guys who walked into the NFL and had contentious beginnings to their career and then somewhere along the way found it and became good, became mainstays, became staples. J.J. McCarthy is not going to be that guy. J.J. McCarthy's career in the NFL is over. I'm not saying that as like some good news or relish. Like J.J., he didn't steal my girlfriend in high school, though multiple people did. He didn't steal my girlfriend in high school. But I can look at the metrics, the numbers. I can look at the rhetoric. I can listen to J.J. McCarthy and tell you why this isn't going to work out. Can I start with a baseline? Can I start with a conspiracy theory? I'd like to if I can. I think J.J. McCarthy is a different quarterback, not by some metric of an injury in the National Football League or, maybe a hard adjustment to the National Football League. No, there are numbers to back up J.J. McCarthy and the conspiracy theory that he's not been the same ever since he parted ways with his old trusted steed, Connor Stallions. You know that name. Connor Stallions is the guy who was at Michigan, and he was allegedly scouting out other teams and games, would buy tickets to sit front row at an Ohio State game. Connor Stallions would show up at a university somehow on the sidelines in a disguise and start stealing plays to pick apart Michigan's opponents. When J.J. McCarthy had Connor Stallions, in his 8 games with Connor Stallions, his final season in college football, 78% completion percentage, 225 passing yards per game, 18 touchdowns to 3 interceptions in those 8 games. In the 5 games after Connor Stallions resigned, McCarthy, 68% completion percentage. That's down 10%. 166 pass yards per game. That's down 60 yards. And in his first 8 games, 18-3 touchdown to interception ratio. In his last 5 games without Connor Stallions, the electric scout, in 5 games, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. J.J. McCarthy was neutralized without Connor Stallions. Well, damn, man. It's almost like when you know what the defense is doing, when you know the plays, it's almost like when your coach is notably cheating to the point that he has to resign. NCAA investigates you. Maybe you do a little bit better. And the Vikings wanted to take that guy 10th overall in the NFL draft. They did. But that's not the week. Let's go past the conspiracy theories. Here's that's the reason in the back of my brain, what the conspiracy theorist in me wants to believe for why J.J. McCarthy will not work out in the NFL. The numbers that back up that J.J. McCarthy is bad. And heck, you can take his numbers from last season. When healthy, his 10 games. McCarthy had a 57. I almost cut him short. 57% completion percentage. 1,600 yards. Again, 10 games played. 57% completion percentage. 1,600 yards, 11 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. His QBR, listen to this, his QBR was 35.6. If your QBR can be an ACT score, we have a problem. Your QBR is bad. McCarthy was not good. With virtually the same, by the way, hello. Hey, JJ McCarthy. Drake Toll here, the Drake Toll Show, Westwood One Sports, front row. Yes, hey. You're throwing the ball to Justin Jefferson. Could you speak for yourself? Could you stand up for yourself? You're throwing the ball to Justin Jefferson. What excuse do you have, J.J. McCarthy? Sam Darnold took a very similar iteration of this team with the same coaching staff. Kevin O'Connell, the head coach. Sam Darnold took this team to the playoffs. Back when we thought Sam Darnold was actually ass, he took this team to the playoffs. J.J. McCarthy, what's your excuse? I think, now that I've given you the numbers, I think it really started day one in Minnesota that you could start to read the tea leaves and say, should we have drafted this guy 10th overall? Was McCarthy the answer? Because the second he arrived in Minnesota, he started saying things that your radar, you perk up a bit on your radar and say, that's weird. And it began when he was talking about himself in the first person. Here is J.J. McCarthy saying, I'm betting on 9. I've got an alter ego on the football field. I call him 9.
You go to a different place in your mind, like on game day?
I feel like I do. Yeah, there's definitely a level of a switch that gets flipped. For me, it's, that I call him 9. 9 comes out, and I got to understand, okay, he can't be at his peak performance throughout 3.5 hours.
He's talking about himself. I call him 9. I don't wake up to go on the radio every day and be like, "Ooh, okay." Eyes roll back in my head. I call him Toll. You're about to get it. You're about to get to my alter ego radio presence. You don't show up to work at Goldman Sachs like, they're not about to get Kevin. They're about to get Lawrence. You all got Lawrence today. You don't have a nickname for yourself. When your eyes roll back in your head, you become a different demon, a different beast. That's weird. It's not normal. I call him 9. He's a separate. This is some Aaron Rodgers ayahuasca stuff. I call him 9. He's a separate being. He is not me. He is my. This is when Garth Brooks thought he was Chris Gaines. Do you remember this? Garth Brooks released an album as a different human being because he went through an early 2000s identity crisis where he thought he was Chris Gaines. He was making a movie. He was going to act for a little bit. Garth Brooks, the country singer, 2 pina coladas. I don't know why. That's probably his 13th best-known song. I'm not sure why I picked that one. Garth Brooks does a movie where his parents are these former Olympians in the United States, and they have a child who is Garth Brooks, and his name is Chris Gaines in the movie, and he has this really whack haircut. He's got deep eyeliner and a haircut that slashes across his face. He released an album with Chris Gaines as the cover photo. And Garth would take interviews. And there was a spot in the early 2000s, we thought we lost Garth Brooks for good. Oh, no. He didn't play a damn down of football, but the CTE got to him. Because Garth's coming to the podium being like, Chris is happy to be here. Chris is this beautiful being. And I was like, whoa. When we start referring to ourselves, our alter ego, at the podium, everybody, it was bad when Garth Brooks did it, right? But when J.J. McCarthy did it, were Vikings fans excited? Yeah! Come on, 9! It's weird. It was the first example of J.J. McCarthy being weird and how this whole thing might not work out. So if that's the case, if McCarthy all of a sudden is not the starting quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings, one could assume that, hey, I know I'm still pretty young. I got 4 years of guaranteed money, but I want to play. Do you think, let's go to J.J. McCarthy. J.J., would you think about a trade at this point?
I think I made it very clear I wanted to be here before I got here. And I love this organization. I love the coaching staff. I absolutely love these players to death. This is where I want to be. I feel like I can thrive in this system. And, it's just, everything played out exactly how I wanted it. I wouldn't want anything else to change.
Yeah. I think what he's saying is everything played out. Him going to Minnesota played out as he wanted it, and he didn't want that to change, his existence in Minnesota. But now McCarthy has been benched in favor of the broken Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray is a guy he's a torso and arms. He's no legs. We have a tourniquet down there. And he's the starting quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings because J.J. McCarthy could not get the job done. Very obviously was not a leader in the clubhouse. J.J. McCarthy, very obviously, is the number 10 overall pick. After he parted ways with Connor Stallions, just became a defective quarterback. Out of a class, by the way, if you want to feel worse for the Minnesota Vikings, this is one of the most loaded quarterback classes in the history of the National Football League. Caleb Williams, drafted number 1 overall. Jaden Daniels, drafted number 2 overall. Drake May, drafted number 3 overall. Each of those guys has made their mark in the NFL already. Michael Penix Jr. was a top 10 draft pick who you could loop in with J.J. McCarthy as being another guy to point out and say, this is not working out too well. McCarthy taken 10th overall, and Bo Nix, who played in a conference title game a year ago, or got his team to a conference title game, the Denver Broncos. That Bo Nix, drafted number 12 overall by the Denver Broncos. Surely the Vikings are looking around now going, damn, we could have gotten Bo Nix. What? He was available? Damn, we could have traded up and gotten Drake May. Oh, Caleb Williams was in the fold. You got J.J. McCarthy. And now somehow, transitive property, by getting J.J. McCarthy, Kyler Murray is your starting quarterback. Dark times ahead. I don't have confidence in this iteration of the Minnesota Vikings. You know what else I don't have confidence in? College football media. The college football preseason top 25 has been released by one outlet, and they have gone egregiously off the rails. Where is your team? That's up next. This is Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. This is the Drake Toll Show.
I turn the engine, but the engine doesn't turn. What sells a cheaper wine, cigarettes? This place is always such a mess. Sometimes I think I'd like to watch it burn. I sit alone, and I feel just like somebody else. Man, I ain't changed, but I know I ain't the same. But somewhere here in between these city walls of dying dreams, I think of death, it must be killing me.
No! There's no way! The Ohio State Buckeyes, ranked number 1 in the college football preseason, on 3, put out their 2026 CFB preseason top 25 yesterday. And to bring in someone who is fuming over this, everybody give it up! Freddie Bates, producer of the Drake Toll Show. It is time for today's Idiots of the Day.
Idiot of the Day.
All right, Addie's not the idiot. That's not where I'm going with this. No. On 3 release.
Better.
It's college football preseason top 25. Number 1, Ohio State. That's weird. Shouldn't that be Texas? Number 2, Oregon. That's weird. Shouldn't that be Texas? Number 3, the Texas Longhorns. How egregious is it? Notable Austin ball knower, notably from Austin, Texas. How egregious is it that the Texas Longhorns are 3rd in their preseason rankings behind Ohio State?
Is On 3, are they working with like crypto? Are they working with Kalshi? Is this the poly market?
Oh, wow. Nice.
Huh? Is that what is that where they're getting these numbers
well,
from?
if you're asking, I think yes, actually. I do think they're sponsored by a few of those.
So here we go. My trust in them already tanked, okay?
All right.
All right. You guys look here. You look here, okay? You see me? We got Matthew McConaughey. We got Arch Manning. We got Sark. Have you ever seen The Wolf of Wall Street?
I have seen The Wolf of Wall Street. It's overrated, but I'm interested to see where you're.
No, you're lame. You're lame. That's the breathing exercises the McConaughey's doing. That's what the Longhorns are doing right now. UK Sark? Yes.
He's coked out of his mind.
That is Arch Manning out there, allegedly. We don't have any reports that say otherwise.
What's happening right now? I think we've lost sight of something here.
Texas. You're telling me? I'm going to ask you. Do you think Oregon is better than Texas?
I think I do have Oregon in my top 3 preseason, but I reluctantly, as someone who went to Baylor and grew up an Arkansas fan, so like hating Texas was part of my DNA, I now hate every college football team equally, so I do have Texas as number 1 in my preseason poll.
You hate other than BYU, but why do you have Texas ranked as number 1 in your BYU poll? I mean, in your college football poll?
No one is spending more than Ohio State. By the way, I have it on good authority. Their roster could push up to $80 million in football when all is said and done this year. Texas returning production, offensive line, namely. I'm still not buying Arch Manning top 3 quarterback in college football. I think more around the 5 to 7 range. Because there are, but look, I think Dante Moore, or I think Arch Manning and like John Mateer are in a fun category in the middle of like both good quarterbacks. Don't be mad at that. John Mateer's really good. John Mateer's don't.
I don't know. I saw him last year. He wasn't that great.
Just because he's the Oklahoma guy, but he's been injured. I think I have Texas at number 1. It's the trenches. Nobody has better trenches in college football than Texas.
I agree. I mean, I'm going to ignore the John Mateer comp because even when he wasn't injured, I don't know. It just didn't think it was like the same way last year. Everybody's high on these random guys like Lenore Sellers, and he wasn't great. I'm sorry. These guys just aren't great. And sure, I'll defend Arch Manning, but I think we're getting a different Arch Manning this year. Sark said that, he's yelling at players in practice. Like he's kind of being assertive. I feel like we didn't see that last year. He was very timid. And I think that's because the media, everything was just like, oh, he's going to go number 1. Oh, now he sucks. We built him up. We tore him down. And now you have this guy. We lit a fire under his ass. And I think that is going to be key for Texas's success this season.
I like John Mateer. I'm sorry. I don't know. I didn't mean to offend you with that. I thought it was nice. I thought it was a nice comparison. I think John Mateer is going to be one of the top 10 quarterbacks in college football.
Yeah,
I
don't know. After watching him enough, I understand he was injured,
Arch
whatever.
Over John, I put Arch over maybe a tick over John Mateer, over Marcel Reed. I think Trinidad Chambliss is top 3 in college football for sure.
Well, yeah, he's been there for like 10 years now.
He has
15,
played.
20?
He played
Yeah.
4 years at Ferris State, and then a year at Ole Miss. Now this will be second year. Yeah, he's on a 6 year. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the college kid going back to like high school, like homecoming. It's weird. That's how
Dante
that feels.
Moore, Jaden Mayava is going to be good. I think we're undervaluing how good Brendan Sorsby is going to be in the prison league. Guy can really throw it around the yard. Indiana, they just went and got the TCU kid. I think it's pretty. That's fair. I don't like BYU at 15. You mentioned BYU. I am pretty high on BYU this year. They have the 3rd highest return production of any team in college football, including offensive and defensive line. Have questions at wide receiver, their skill position still, but their offensive line is going to carry them to be pretty good. Texas Tech at 11, undervalued. They're going to be a top 8 team in college football. They probably won't lose a game. Their strength of schedule is not incredible, but they keep being dodged by non-conference opponents, which is a whole storyline within itself. Notre Dame at 5. This could be the year for Marcus Freeman. Oregon, Notre Dame. Like if any year was the year, Oregon and Notre Dame both. Here's your year to do it. Go win a national championship. On 3 has LSU at number 12. Notably, first-year head coach Matt Campbell and Penn State at number 18. They get the Florida Gators. It's great. Hey. Yeah. Florida Gators, who were 3-9 last season, are number 25 in the On3 preseason top 25 college football poll. Any other qualms with this list, by the way?
Yeah, I think the big one for me is Penn State. I think there's just too much in the air on that one. And everybody had them ranked high last year. I saw them at 2. I saw that in every single ranking. And so I'm not high on Penn State. You have a new head coach coming in. I get it. You have, this new quarter. Like, it's just, there's too many variables for Penn State in particular to put them in the top 25 for me.
I think USC makes the college football playoff. I'll make that case for the next month. I think USC makes the college football playoff. 310-840-4910. Do you know where your football team is? Do you know where your children are? That's the On3 college football preseason top 25, part of our Idiots of the Day. Let's keep them rolling on the Drake Toll Show. Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. Idiot of the Day, Aaron Rodgers. This interview came out, and let's talk about anything but football. Hey, Aaron, after pulling this from a podcast appearance recently, I'd love to know maybe if he's talking about how training camp's going so far.
I started deep on a journey where the ayahuasca is usually described as a grandmother spirit, and I met her and walked with her through past, present, and future lives. And it was the most beautiful experience I could possibly imagine. I literally was able to ask her question after question about things that were on my mind and have the most beautiful journey I could possibly imagine.
Okay, that's the starting quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers, Aaron Rodgers. Aaron, no. How are you feeling to be back with the team at training camp and say goodbye to the offseason?
The overwhelming sense of sadness and grief of what I was leaving behind. I just sat with that for hours, probably 2 hours, as I was begging grandmother to let me purge whatever was inside of me and needed to come out. And she said, not yet. Not yet, my son. There's more.
Aaron, you're the starting quarterback with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Mike McCarthy's the head coach, coming back for another year. It's a lot about grandmother and ayahuasca. Could you just, one last thing, please? Let's talk football. What's going through your brain on the field right now?
Incredible experiences from the past, heartbreak, failures, frustrations, deep, deep sadness. And then I purged at about 4:30 in the morning, finally, and laid there afterwards on my mat and then opened my eyes, and it felt like I was opening my eyes for the first time.
Eddie, that is an NFL starting quarterback telling us how the grandmother spirit, while he was on deep drugs, led him through the forest of despair and darkness until he purged at 4:30 in the morning.
I'm not seeing the issue.
Yeah, I don't think I want that to be my starting quarterback.
Oh.
You guys can have him. You, the Pittsburgh Steelers fans, you can have old man Aaron Rodgers.
I don't know. You would be surprised. You know Shaun White, the snowboarder?
What do you mean by snowboarder? Because when I was in college, our quarterback loved to snowboard at the local bar every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
You know the Olympian, Shaun White?
I do know Shaun White, yes.
When it comes out, he was high when he did this. You know what? Give him another gold medal. That's even more impressive. That is more impressive. That's how I feel about that.
Shaun White had the damn grandmother spirit leading him down the mountain, and you guys are upset?
That is impressive that he could do that. So Aaron Rodgers, yes, I'm impressive. If you have the grandmother spirit with you, rest easy.
Namaste. Namaste. We'll see you in Valhalla, Aaron Rodgers. It is, I just want to reemphasize, starting quarterback of a National Football League team, of an NFL football team. Aaron Rodgers just said that about his grandma spirit in ayahuasca.
Would you rather him bite women or say anti-Semitic remarks or, massage parlor stuff or
crash cars? Yeah.
Rob people?
Evade police and kidnap people.
Free Aaron.
No. This is a very good point. Aaron Rodgers' drug use is probably the least of our problems out of the NFL. Hashtag free 4. 9. I'm riding with 9. We're on our Idiots of the Day, the Drake Toll Show, Westwood One Sports, the Westwood One Sports app. Don't go anywhere, Addy. Idiot of the Day, Paul Skeens. Last night, his fastest pitch was 96.5 miles per hour. He was pulled after 65 pitches. His velocity's been down big time the last 2 months. We are actively losing Paul Skeens.
I've seen people say, hey, you don't actually know what's going on because the third time he gets through a lineup, the opposing batting average is 325. That is not the problem. The problem is the velocity there. Sure, he went 5 innings and threw 65 pitches and was pulled, but he never got above 97 miles per hour. This is Paul Skeens, who can consistently, like Jacob Mizorowski, the pitcher for the Brewers, he can consistently throw 100 plus. And what happens when Drake Toll, what happens when you see a dip in velocity usually?
Well, you probably are either hurt or you get pulled.
Yeah, and if it's a consistently dip in velocity, that's usually the old
You're hurt,
Tommy John.
Right? Yeah, that's what they do to you. That's what they do. They name a surgery after you. They got to tear that elbow up and restart.
I mean, he's also put on weight. People are saying that, so maybe they're trying to give him the old
fat
Alek Manoah.
Now?
Yeah, that's like Alek Manoah. He got fat, but if it's the velocity that makes me think that old UCO.
The getting fat seemed to work for like Johnny Cueto
Mm-hmm.
and CC Sabathia. He was a pretty big guy.
Bartolo
Colon hit a home run that one time. He was a Cy Young Award winner, Bartolo Colon. Don't go there. Don't go there. Don't you call my King Bartolo Colon fat. I'm not taking that today. That is Addy Bates, producer of the Drake Toll Show. Laura Jimenez runs the board. Those are your idiots of the day today, and you can, of course, include the Cleveland Browns in there. And you know what? Fine. Aaron Glenn, the New York Jets. Why not? That's just every day we can put the Browns and the Jets somewhere on our idiots of the day. And let's keep it on that topic. An NFL player just bit a woman. And that NFL player might be the best wide receiver in the National Football League. When we come back, we're not talking about how to drive manual cars. No, we're talking the National Football League and the guy who bit someone. It is Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. You can call or text the show at 310-840-4910, 310-840-4910. This is the Drake Toll Show.
She thinks she missed the train to Mars. She's out back counting stars. She thinks she missed the train to Mars. She's out back counting stars.
So, if I bite people, it's a problem. Whenever I'm in public, I go to the bar. You know what? And I don't dislike the bar. Probably 3 or 4 weeks ago, I was in Nashville, Tennessee. And a buddy of mine's like, "Hey, let's go out. Let's do it. We'll go to the club tonight. We'll go to this rooftop bar. We'll have a few Miller Lights. It'll be fun." We get up there. Diego Pavia's in one corner. The Hughes brothers are in another corner. And then in our corner, up walks Dan and Shay, the country artists. And buddy's like, "Hey, man, this is Dan and Shay." You know, shake their hands, dap them up, meet them. Like, "Hey, good to see you guys. Nice to be with you guys." We're all kind of hanging out with this like party animals group. And the buddy who has the table at one point looks over to me. He's like, "Hey, I got a question for you. This might be crass." He's like, "Which one's Dan and which one's Shay?" It's like, you got me there. Like, I'm kind of stuck. But I can tell you that in going, you have a couple beers, you get back home by 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, get a hot dog on the street, and then you're asleep in your cozy little bed. What I don't do over the course of those nights is bite people, usually. Puka Nacua, on the other hand, did this offseason. Should we be worried about the Los Angeles Rams as some of these off the field and now on field storylines and injuries pile up? Should we be worried? Are you worried about the LA Rams? 310-840-4910. And let me give you context on why I asked that question. In the latest Rams news, it's an injury update. I pull up the 3 or 4 different major networks, and yesterday, the first thing I see, injury news for LA Rams. Think, okay, all right, who's injured? Oh, Puka Nacua and Myles Garrett. Defensive end Myles Garrett, per ESPN, is dealing with swelling in his knee and did not take part in the team's joint practice on Tuesday against the Dallas Cowboys. It will be the second consecutive practice that Myles Garrett, the reigning defensive player of the year who came over from the Cleveland Browns, his second consecutive practice missed. The Rams were without Puka Nacua for a portion of practice yesterday after he left early as well. Even McVay said he didn't know what Puka was dealing with, but that he was not able to finish practice. Ian Rappaport, in the latest report, most recent report, says Nacua is dealing with groin soreness and the Rams are being precautionary. Now, it's training camp, okay? It's training camp. If a guy doesn't want to practice, if a guy doesn't want to play, if a guy's not, then that's fine. For Myles Garrett, McVay even said that he's at about 85%. He said, "I don't know what 100% is going to look like. But if what Myles Garrett's giving him is 85%, the Rams feel confident." But maybe if we're going to unpack, and I thought ESPN did a really good article this week about NFL favorites who have fallen short in the past. These large favorites going into a season, like the 2018 New England Patriots were massive favorites going into a year, and they didn't fall apart. Some of those Favre-led Green Bay Packers teams were big NFL favorites going into a year, and they didn't fall apart. What can the Rams do to avoid being one of the disappointments of the National Football League as a team that right now, if you asked a Kalshi or a Poly Market, the Rams have a 25% chance to go to the Super Bowl. That's unheard of. That doesn't happen. 25, if you put $100 down right now on the Rams to make the Super Bowl and they go, you get $400 back. Depending on what Vegas site you're using, what betting site you're using. That is stunning, man. The Rams are heavy favorites in 2026, but is there cause for worry? Are there reasons you should look at the LA Rams and say, "I don't know about it"? I almost want to prepare us for the idea that if it does fall apart for the Los Angeles Rams, what are we going to do? What are we going to point out? What are the issues going to be? It was Bill Barnwell who did the article from ESPN. And he broke down these great teams in the National Football League. 310-840-4910. If it doesn't work out for the Rams, why? Are you worried about the LA Rams? It's the Drake Toll Show on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. Drake Toll with you. I can point to a couple reasons that the LA Rams might fall into this category of teams that disappointed. In 2017, for example, the New England Patriots had a 20% chance to win the Super Bowl going into the year. The rest of the NFL, the gap between them and the second highest odds was 11.5%. New England lost the Super Bowl. 2007, kind of the same situation. New England had a 21% chance going into the year to win the Super Bowl. They lost to the Giants in the big game. The 96 49ers, 19% chance to win the Super Bowl. They lost the divisional round to the Packers 35-14. The 2002 St. Louis Rams. The Rams had lost in the prior year's Super Bowl, but that 2002 iteration was the favorite to win the Super Bowl going into the year and had a gap on the rest of the NFL by 8%, their odds to win the Super Bowl. That Rams team missed the playoffs. What if we're looking at a 2026 St. Louis Rams turned LA Rams that do what the 2002 St. Louis Rams did? Be a massive favorite going into the year and then implode and either miss the postseason, not make the Super Bowl, not win. One of my favorite bets in the world right now, by the way, is for the Rams to go to the Super Bowl. They're my champion. I'm not going to overthink this thing. Going into the postseason last year, it was the Seattle Seahawks. I'm not going to overthink this. I'm going defense. Going into this year, let's go defense again. Myles Garrett and the impending return of Aaron Donald. How are you going to bet against the LA Rams? But what if there are cracks in the foundation? What if you're looking at a now banged up Myles Garrett or a now banged up Puka Nacua, and they're going to tell you it's precautionary, but are you worried about a Rams who also didn't have a seamless or spotless offseason? Puka has become maybe the best wide receiver in the National Football League. I think you put him right there with Jackson Smith and Jigba. And since Puka was drafted in the 5th round in 2023, he's taken the league by storm. 129 receptions last year. That's a silly number. 129 receptions. 1,715 yards, was second in the National Football League, and he was tied for 6th in the NFL with 10 touchdowns. Puka Nacua is a stud. The problem with Puka Nacua on the field, the problem with Puka Nacua, who represents the LA Rams wearing number 12, is the Puka Nacua off the field can't stop biting people. And Puka has had, yet again, in these, what happens is, oh man, groin soreness. Oh man, misses a practice. Oh, it misses half a practice. Oh, this is the same guy what you start pointing at guys who are out in training camp, and you remember, you dig back up wait a second, is that the same guy? You dig back up the storylines that we forget. In my job, in my role, if I bite someone and the video surfaces of this woman in this strapless dress, and it's a picture of her back, and there are defined teeth marks. When you die, when there's a homicide, the first thing they look at is teeth. We can corroborate, if we want to, Puka Nacua and his teeth and this woman. But it wasn't the only thing that your star wide receiver was tangled up in this offseason. So December of last year, he's with Aiden Ross, who's an internet personality, during a live stream. Nacua performs a fake touchdown celebration, a gesture that is linked to anti-Semitic tropes depicting Jewish people as greedy. He makes an anti-Semitic gesture. Oh, not good. And the NFL immediately put out an official statement, condemned the act, saying, hey, we don't do that on live streams, Puka. We don't do anti-Semitism. And Nacua had to apologize on Instagram. So you'd think that maybe then, hey, we're on probation here. We're going to let you play. We just need you to dial it back a little bit. But no! According to a civil lawsuit, Nacua on New Year's Eve was out with a group of friends in Los Angeles, and court filings and statements from an accuser alleged that during a dinner early in the evening, Nacua made a direct anti-Semitic remark, saying vulgarities toward the Jewish community. Then later in the same evening, the situation escalated physically, and a lawsuit claims Nacua bit a female companion's thumb and then bit a woman's shoulder, leaving distinct teeth marks. You can find the alleged picture of the shoulder bite out there as well. Have the Rams shown cracks in the foundation? 310-840-4910. Now, even in March, this was exacerbated when Nakua's attorney and Nacua had to fight all of this in a civil lawsuit that was filed by the complainant. And in April, Puka Nacua went to rehab. After all the off-field scrutiny, his legal representation confirmed he had checked into a rehabilitation facility, and according to his counsel, a decision to enter rehab was initiated independently of the lawsuit to work on personal behavior and overall self-improvement. It's not usually a good look when somebody says, that guy who plays in the NFL who's pretty recognizable bit me and then yelled anti-Semitic remarks, and your lawyers say, okay, well, he didn't do that, but he is in a rehab facility. It's those two things. I'm not saying you're guilty because you went to rehab, Puka, but those two things don't usually add up, or they're cracks in the Rams foundation. Now, I've gone on the attack here against Puka Nacua, and I'm concerned by the Myles Garrett missing 2 days of practice. Surely it's a nothing burger, right? Let me give the Rams their opportunity to respond. Let's ask Puka Nacua, have you learned, this is a training camp, let's ask Puka Nacua if he has learned from, is what I should say, his mistakes in training camp. And when he was asked that, he said that he spent a long portion of his offseason rehabilitating himself, rehabilitating his mind, and becoming a different version of Puka Nacua. That is the response from a top-end wide receiver in the National Football League who now is facing public backlash from an offseason from hell. It's Westwood One Sports, the Westwood One Sports app, 310-840-4910. It is the Drake Toll Show. Drake Toll with you. Let's keep it the National Football League, and let's keep it with the old jailbirds, huh? Yeah! To Rashee Rice in Kansas City. This was a good trope from Josh Graham, Westwood One Sports, and the Westwood One Sports app about Rashee Rice, who has been in trouble with the law over the course of the last couple of years after he was driving his car really fast, caused a pileup on the interstate, and then evaded police in the wake of that pileup. Things that you can't do, and things that, once again, if you or I did, we would be relieved of our duties at our jobs. But Rice has now gone on the record saying, I'm 100% locked in on what's going on with the team. I'm ready to go out there and dominate. I've got a good group of brothers behind me. Now, these are the same brothers that in the wake of Rice causing this crash, these are the same guys who wore shirts that said free for. Now, again, if I drive a car over 100 miles an hour, cause a pileup on the interstate that could be life-threatening for people, and then I exit the vehicle and run away before facing the law, my coworkers don't wear free Drake shirts. I don't get that liberty. But when you're in the NFL and you've got quote from Rice, I've got a good group of brothers behind me, that's the treatment you get. You got Super Bowl contender LA Rams, who have had their offseason tiffs with guys like Puka Nacua who are trying to revive themselves. And you've got the Super Bowl contender Kansas City Chiefs and Rashee Rice, who had to go to jail for 30 days because he broke probation. And he's trying to put his recent jail sentence behind him. 30 days he sat in a cell in the offseason. Because of that crash, that's why he was on probation. And he says, the incident is behind me. I was released from jail in mid-June, and jail taught me a lesson. Yeah. Yes. Jail taught him a lesson. And even while he was in jail, he got treatment that you and I probably wouldn't be accustomed to. He was able to receive treatment on his right knee at a local hospital to ensure that he was back and fully healthy for his NFL campaign in 2026. I go to jail. I get slop meatloaf. Rashee Rice goes to jail. He gets knee treatment to help him feel better. As promised, for the Rashee Rice and Puka Nacua offseason controversies, each of those guys has an opportunity to speak for themselves, to say that they're Shawshank Redemption, have you been rehabilitated? Each of them has the right to speak for themselves. Let's go to training camp. We've got the audio. Puka Nacua on how he's better now after he may have bit someone and said anti-Semitic remarks.
Distractions. How confident are you that that stuff can stay in the past and that you can kind of lock in and not maybe invite any more distractions?
I feel very confident about that. I think continuing some of the things that I was able to establish into my routine, trusting and in closing, I think my circle of trust and allowing the people that I feel like have the inside parts of my life to continue to communicate and trust the people I think who are around me. And I owe a great thank you to my support system, but especially like my family through this time. There have been things that obviously have happened this offseason that haven't been the truest reflection of the person I feel like I am and how my mother raised me. And there's definitely been conversations with her to apologize, but also for her to say that she supports me. And also my brothers are I think my biggest critics as well. So I'm like there were some intense conversations, but loving conversations in order to see improvement.
Puka Nacua, you have been rehabilitated. 310-840-4910. There's still cracks in the foundation for the LA Rams over the Kansas City Chiefs. 310-840-4910 after offseason controversies with Puka Nacua and Rashee Rice for those respective franchises, or the two Super Bowl contenders, A-OK, with a couple of guys who had a rough 6 months. It's Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. You know what? There's a team at plus 1,900 right now, a team at plus 1,900 to win the Super Bowl. That is the value pick in the National Football League to win it all in 2026. Up next, this is the Drake Toll Show. Is this the one NFL franchise that we're all missing? It's like we forgot that they snuck in a team at plus 1,900 odds to win the Super Bowl, and you're going to tell me that's not a value pick? You're going to tell me we're going to neglect a team that just paid their running back, who has a franchise quarterback and has Dan Campbell as their head coach? It's the Detroit Lions, who we're not giving enough love to going into 2026. So let's go to the expert. Let's take you to Detroit. Dan Miller, Lions radio play-by-play, sports director at Fox 2. Dan, appreciate your time up early with us this morning. As you listen to national radio or pop the TV on, watching Sports Center, does it feel like we're not giving enough attention to just how much of a juggernaut the Lions still are?
I think some of that is from last year when they finished 9-8, last in the division, and didn't meet the standards that they had set in 23 and 24. So I get some of it. I will say, I think when you look at this roster, you're hard-pressed to go around the league and say, is there another team with a top 10 running back, top 10 quarterback, top 10 tight end, top 10 wide receiver, top 10 offensive tackle, top 10 defensive end, top 10 linebacker. When they're healthy, 2 top 10 safeties. So the talent's there. I still think there are questions about this team, but it is kind of funny you bring this up. I actually had to do something with Amon-Ra St. Brown yesterday, and he's like, we like it this way. He goes, people aren't talking about us. It's kind of like the old days. Let them talk about the other teams that they want. We know what we have to do. So I think it maybe goes with that bounce-back mentality that they have from last year, and it might even add a little something to it. Hey, you want to forget about us? That's okay.
He's the voice of the Detroit Lions, Dan Miller, joining the Drake Toll Show, Westwood One Sports, and the Westwood One Sports app. Dan, I have my own questions that are listed out about the Detroit Lions, but what I like that you inserted in there is that this team has its questions. From your perspective, somebody inside the building and close to the team, what are those questions still for you?
Offensive line. Look, when this team was at its best in the last 3-4 years, end of 22, 23, 24, that offensive line was the face of this team. You can talk about Goff and Saint, and you can talk about, JMO or whoever else, Montgomery Gibbs, those guys that were helping to lead the way, Hutch. That offensive line is what gave them the belief every time they took the field that they were going to win that game, that you could play. You want to slow it down? Fine. They'll grind it out with you on the ground. You want to have a track meet? That's fine. They'll give Jared time to make plays. So, and then, when Frank Ragnow retired, that was huge.
Yeah.
And there was some turnover on that line, and they just didn't have it together last year. And, man, you saw the difference. Even though they were fourth in the league in scoring, you still saw when they really needed something sometimes, a yard, 2 yards, a first down, it wasn't there. They may not get back to being the best offensive line, which arguably they were for a couple of years, but it's got to be significantly better than it was last year. That took a hit when Cade Mays, their center, went down this week, and we're going to have to see how they adjust to that. But that's a big question for me. And then, Drake, those 2 safeties I talked about.
Yeah.
When you have Branch and Kirby Joseph in the game, you've got the best safety tandem in the NFL. Well, right now, neither one of them's playing. Branch is on a traditional recovery from an Achilles. We don't know when Kirby will be back. So the back end of that defense becomes a question as well.
You say the offensive line is a question mark that you'll learn about. One thing that we all are aware of is the name Jahmyr Gibbs, the guy running behind them. And now he is the NFL's highest paid running back. In that building is the belief that Jahmyr Gibbs is the best running back in the National Football League.
Yeah, I think they love him. I think they, I haven't had conversations about, hey, how do you think he compares to Bijan or anything like that?
Sure.
But I think they absolutely – they love him and what he can do, and I think you're seeing the growth in his game. He caught 77 passes last year. You're seeing the growth in his game as a receiver. He's a touchdown waiting to happen. He's a guy that can turn 5 into 40 or 10 into a touchdown, whatever it is at any time. And I think the interesting thing is, going into this year, not having Montgomery, not having that second guy, and whether or not Isaiah Pacheco can fill that role will be something to watch for this team. But that guy is really special. And that guy is somebody who obviously changes the way defenses play against you. And look, they've got a number of guys like that, from him to Amon-Ra St. Brown to Jamison Williams, Sam Laporta. They got guys that you have to know exactly where they are on the field and be mindful of your matchups, or you're going to have a problem, and that's reflected in the number of points they've scored in the last 3 years.
Dan, a more holistic NFL question here, really, as Jahmyr Gibbs gets paid. I go back to that 2019-2020, these contract talks between like Le'Veon Bell and the Jets, or the lucrative deal the Cowboys signed with Zeke Elliott. Those were 5 or 6 year deals. We've come off of that. Jahmyr Gibbs signing a 3-year deal. You look at Jonathan Taylor, 2 years. Bijan Robinson, 3 years. The running back position and its contract structure has changed in the National Football League, yet the Lions went almost against the grain to pay the running back. What does that say about Jahmyr Gibbs? And what does it really say, again, holistically, about the running back position in the NFL?
Yeah, I think it's evolving. And I think it's, one, remember, Jahmyr's got 2 years left on his original contract, so this ties him up for 5, essentially.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, we went through a period where everybody wanted a running back and they were willing to pay him. Everybody wanted that game-breaking guy that they could hand the ball to 275 times a year, and they were going to pay him, and they didn't think twice about it. Then all of a sudden it got to a point where we started to feel like, man, these guys are interchangeable. We don't need to pay him. We'll let him go. We can bring one guy in, substitute him with another guy if that doesn't work out. I think we're seeing it kind of come back now to where if you have a Bijan Robinson, or you have a Gibbs, or you have a Jonathan Taylor, you're going to pay those guys. A Saquon Barkley, you're going to pay. When Saquon got paid his recent big contract, people were like, whoa, they're paying a running back. I think that it's kind of gone from there's something you have to, hey, we can make do with a lot of different ones. We'll figure it out. Back to some of these guys really are special, and some of these guys really do change games, and those are guys you can pay.
He is the voice of the Detroit Lions, Dan Miller, joining the Drake Toll Show, Westwood One Sports, and the Westwood One Sports app. Dan, Teddy Bridgewater, the retirement news coming down the pipeline this week in Detroit, losing a guy who's had a couple stints for the franchise. What do you lose both on the field, and I guess maybe more specifically off the field, and almost an extension of the coaching staff with Teddy Bridgewater leaving the building?
Yeah, I think that's a great point that you make about off the field, because that's really where Teddy was so good with this team. Jamison Williams, who is a different guy than the one that walked in the door here, so much more mature, so much more understanding about what it takes to be a professional football player, so much better as a football player. He'll tell you all about what Teddy Bridgewater did for him and what Teddy did to help him kind of figure out, life as a pro football player and life as a man. I mean, Teddy is just a really good leader that you love having in there with your young guys, because he is such a positive force that's been through some things and can relate to guys, and they can relate to him. So I would say first and foremost, what you miss is the man in the locker room, the leadership, the ability to lift young players. I think that's number one, what goes out the door with Teddy. The experience is certainly there, but I will be honest with you, as presently constituted, if the Detroit Lions lose Jared Goff, they're going to be in a lot of trouble. And that's not a slight on Teddy. I'd say that about the majority of teams in the National Football League. If you lose that guy who plays the most important position in the league, it's really hard to have somebody behind him that's going to step in and win a lot of games. Now, some teams do it and some teams have it, but most teams don't. And I'm not convinced that had Jared gotten hurt from a playing standpoint, that Teddy was going to be able to sustain over a long period of time any sort of run that was going to, get you where you wanted to be at the end of the day. So for me, the biggest thing that you lose is just that leadership, and that is significant with a guy like Teddy.
He's Dan Miller, the voice of the Detroit Lions. And Dan, again, appreciate your time up early. Last thing I got for you, it's not an apples-to-apples comparison, but I look across the league and see teams like the Cincinnati Bengals, who were in a Super Bowl 4 years ago, now 5 years ago, and 12 wins the season after, but have slowly declined since for Detroit, who has sniffed this postseason success and now has an idea of winning postseason game. Dan Campbell's the head coach with the culture built in. How do you rebound from a year like last season to ensure that the trajectory doesn't continue downward and you're right back into the conversation atop the NFL? How tough is that switch to I don't even say rebound, but to get back to where Dan Campbell wants to be?
I think it's a great question, and I think it's one they turned to immediately after the season was over. And Dan Campbell just said, look, we're going to look at every single thing we do and the way we do it and figure out why this happened, why we went from 15-2, a beat-up 15-2, but 15-2 nonetheless, to 9-8 and last place in the division. Lost several games that left a mark that would have put them in the playoffs. And they really did turn everything over, and they started to do things differently. And the Dan Campbell we saw in the offseason was a different Dan Campbell than we had ever seen before. It was not the Dan Campbell handing out bouquets and saying glowing things about guys. It was always, yeah, he's doing well right now. We'll see what happens when the pads come on. You know, Brad Holmes, dug right into the draft, some of the things that he did during the offseason and years before he didn't do because he wanted to stay locked into that draft. They changed the way they structured their practices in the offseason. They're not doing any joint practices this summer. They wanted to keep it all in-house and do the work that they believe they can get better done with just their players. So I really believe that everything that they did was gone over and looked at to make sure that, as Dan Campbell says, they find the same attitude, desire, hunger, grit that they had end of 22, 23, 24 on the climb and didn't lose their edge in 25. And if they did, they were going to get it back. So, yeah, I think what you say is what you're trying to prevent. It's very easy to start to backslide. I still think there's a ton of young talent on this team if they can stay healthy that should prevent some of that, but it is something that they attacked right away when the offseason began.
Yeah. Dan, that is the exact perspective that we wanted today. The expert from Detroit, the voice of the Lions, Dan Miller, at Dan Miller Fox 2 on Twitter, and you can hear him on Sundays. Dan, appreciate your time this morning with us on the show. This is everything we needed and more.
Thank you, Drake. I appreciate you.
The Detroit Lions. I told you coming into this, plus 1,900 their odds right now to win the Super Bowl. And if there's one team out of the National Football League that is plus 1,500 or worse that you want to put money on, tell me it's not the Detroit Lions. Dan listed it out for you. Hey, we got a top 10 quarterback in the league, got a top 10 running back in the league, top 10 tight ends in the league, top 10 safety group in the league. The question of offensive line is not negated by the fact you have an elite running back. But it sure does help that you have an elite running back who just got paid in Jahmyr Gibbs. And David Montgomery not being there doesn't help, but Isaiah Pacheco is now the complement to Jahmyr Gibbs. The Lions, Amon-Ra St. Brown, top 10 wide receiver in the league. The Lions are in a position to win, and you just kind of forgot about them. They fell to the wayside in the offseason. We're talking more about Deshaun Watson versus Shedeur Sanders, talking more about Kyler Murray versus J.J. McCarthy. We're talking more about Terry and Arnold being arrested and Mike Vrabel and Diana Rossini. And one of these teams, one of these names, one of these brands that just slipped through the cracks of the offseason was the Detroit Lions, plus 1,900. If you put $100 on the Lions to win the Super Bowl and they do it, you win $1,900. For perspective, the Rams, the current favorites to win the Super Bowl at plus 500. The Bills trail them in second place by plus 1,000. That's a massive gap there in the odds. The Rams at plus 500, the Bills at plus 1,000 to win the Super Bowl in 2026. I think the value pick here would then be the Detroit Lions at plus 1,900. Those are worse odds than the San Francisco 49ers. The Lions have worse Super Bowl odds than the Los Angeles Chargers. That's value, my friends. That's value. Westwood One Sports. The Westwood One Sports app. One NFL franchise just made a decision that will doom its 2026 season, and it starts with their quarterback. That's up next. This is the Drake Toll Show.
Last year's top 3.
Don't let go. I feel the music in you.
got a sweet little body as you're rolling in the caddy with me.
Kyler Murray is a starting quarterback in the National Football League once again. This time for the Minnesota Vikings. He beats out J.J. McCarthy for the starting job after the quarterback competition is officially over in Minnesota. I mean, what's worse? The quarterback battles this year are kind of terrible. Can I be that honest? Can I be that transparent with you? 310-840-4910. That I go to Atlanta and I see Michael Penix Jr. versus Tua Tagovailoa. One guy has no lower body, and the other guy has no upper body. He's just shoulders down, and that's it. That's a quarterback battle? I go to Cleveland. It's Deshaun Watson versus Shedeur Sanders. One's the massage guy. The other one is Deion's son, who throws a lot of interceptions. And then I go to Minnesota, and it's Kyler Murray, who has played one full season out of the last 4 years, versus J.J. McCarthy, 9. Real Sophie's choice there. The Minnesota Vikings used Sam Darnold to get to the playoffs, sent Sam Darnold to the Seahawks, and come to find out, oh, shoot, Sam Darnold's good at football. Didn't know that. He just won the Super Bowl with the Seattle Seahawks. And you opted to go for J.J. McCarthy? Let's go to Kevin O'Connell, the head coach of the Minnesota Vikings, where he confirms they have made a decision.
I know there's a lot of kind of reports and things out there regarding our quarterback situation, and just wanted to start out and say, we did, after some dialogue in-house and just kind of daily, analyzing the overall of where we're at right now, we did name Kyler Murray our starting quarterback. From the outset of the offseason, I think we've been really intentional, open about, kind of the goal of creating just a competitive environment filled with wildly capable players that could then obviously elevate our quarterback room through that process, and in doing so, elevate our team.
Just the most coach speak, daily evaluation, intentional, open. It is straight from Denzel Washington and the movie. What was it? Remember the Titans? Straight from it for Kevin O'Connell, who's named his starting quarterback. Doesn't he sound excited, huh? Isn't he fired up to have Kyler Murray as his starting quarterback? I'm less focused on Kyler and all this than I am the fall apart, the fallout, the immediate decline of J.J. McCarthy. I have a conspiracy theory. My conspiracy theory does not start with J.J. McCarthy in the National Football League. No! My conspiracy theory goes all the way back to J.J. McCarthy in college. When he had Connor Stallions as an assistant, I'm going to go there. When he had Connor Stallions as an assistant coach at Michigan, he was a different quarterback. This is the same Connor Stallions who got in trouble for buying tickets to other college football games or sneaking his way to the sideline and effectively stealing plays from other football teams that Michigan and J.J. McCarthy were going to play. Listen to this. Here's why I have a conspiracy theory that J.J. McCarthy might only be a good quarterback because of Connor Stallions. Oh, it's a real conspiracy theory. It's because of this. 8 games in his final year at Michigan with Connor Stallions on staff. 78% completion percentage, 225 yards per game, and in those 8 games, 18 touchdowns. In the 5 games after Connor Stallions resigned, and he didn't have Stallions roaming the sidelines, his completion percentage went down by 10%, from 78 to 68. His pass yards per game went from 225 to 166. And in 8 games, 18 touchdowns. In the 5 without Connor Stallions, one J.J. McCarthy touchdown. What if J.J. McCarthy wasn't the good quarterback? What if Connor Stallions was the good quarterback for J.J. McCarthy because he was feeding him the plays the defense were planning? What if Connor Stallions built J.J. McCarthy, and then after Michigan couldn't cheat anymore, the J.J. McCarthy experiment kind of fell apart? And then you, the Minnesota Vikings, drafted that guy 10th overall. But I'll go further. Not only do the numbers not add up, not only are the numbers bad for the now benched quarterback J.J. McCarthy in college, but the numbers were bad last year in the National Football League. Not only are the numbers bad in college without Connor Stallions, but go to the NFL, where last season He had a 57% completion percentage, 1,600 in his 10 games played, 1,600 yards, 11 touchdowns to 12 interceptions. His QBR was 35.6. If your QBR can be an ACT score, that's not good. J.J. McCarthy was bad as an NFL quarterback last year. Has been benched for Kyler Murray, and it goes past the stats. Doesn't even stop with the stats. I thought when he first walked into the league, he got immediately bad taste in my mouth. He immediately got put a bad taste in everybody's mouth around the Vikings when he started calling himself 9, when he started talking about himself in the third person, when he's referencing his own play. Take a listen to J.J. McCarthy, who has an alter ego for himself.
You go to a different place in your mind, like on game day.
I feel like I do. Yeah, there's definitely a level of a switch that gets flipped. For me, it's, that I call him 9. 9 comes out, and I got to understand, like, okay, he can't be at his peak performance throughout 3.5 hours.
Yeah, I call him 9. I think we all knew in that moment, like, oh no, this guy's a little corny. He's got a little too much Jim Harbaugh to him, his old Michigan coach. He's just a little corny. I don't know if this kid's ready to play in the National Football League. And he wasn't. To the point that Kyler Murray was named the starting quarterback in Minnesota. So then, naturally, if you're J.J. McCarthy, do you give up? What do you do? How do you not become Anthony Richardson? How do you not become Josh Rosen? Kind of this murderer's row of this murdered row of quarterbacks in the National Football League who have fallen apart, fallen to the wayside, who are no longer relevant, guys who had high expectations and then dipped out. Michael Penix Jr. could even be an example of this as he fights for a job in Atlanta against Tua Tagovailoa. How, if you are J.J. McCarthy, do you want to reset? Because on the other side, Kyler Murray has been banged up for a good portion of his career, and in the last 4 years has played one complete season when he was in Arizona. So you're McCarthy, you've kind of got a decision now. You could try to get out of Minnesota, try to reinvent yourself somewhere else. Jared Goff did this, coming from L.A. to Detroit. Sam Darnold did this now in the back half of his career, winning a Super Bowl with the Seattle Seahawks. If you're McCarthy, you can try to reinvent yourself somewhere else, or you can, kind of in the back of your brain, hope that maybe the whole Kyler Murray thing doesn't work out and I can get back in there. If Kyler gets hurt, I could be the backup quarterback. When I get my shot, when my number's called, when they call up 9, I'll be ready. McCarthy was asked at spring training, JJ, would you want to be traded?
I think I made it very clear I wanted to be here before I got here. And I love this organization. I love the coaching staff. I absolutely love these players to death. This is where I want to be. I feel like I can thrive in this system. And, it's just, everything played out exactly how I wanted it. I wouldn't want anything else to change.
I think he's saying that everything played out, him going to Minnesota, he wouldn't want to change going to Minnesota. I don't think he's saying that it played out well, that he's not starting. I would hope that's not what J.J. McCarthy is saying, as he has been benched by the Minnesota Vikings. And the franchise has turned to Kyler Murray as their guy. He is the starting quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings, the 4th starting quarterback in 4 years for Minnesota. Kyler Murray in 2026. Last year was J.J. McCarthy. Sam Darnold the year prior took him to the playoffs. And 2023, Kirk Cousins. 4 years, 4 different quarterbacks. The Vikings in a division with the Detroit Lions, Green Bay Packers, Chicago Bears. They are 4th in odds to win their division at plus 510. The Lions are in 1st at plus 170. I personally don't want to put my money on the Minnesota Vikings to win the NFC North in 2026. It's Wednesday. The Drake Toll Show. Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. Laura Jimenez runs the board. Addie Bates produces. And it's time for Who Am I? Who are they? I don't know.
Something like that. All right, Laura, are you ready?
Sure.
Drake, are you ready?
Possibly.
Alrighty, this is a 1988 English professional boxer and world heavyweight champion. He was born in 1988. He was born in Manchester, England.
I don't know no boxer. No idea.
I don't. Oh, okay. Conor McGregor's not a boxer. I'm not a big boxing guy.
And he's notoriously not from Manchester.
Yeah, he's Irish.
Yeah, but I didn't know if he's born in a hospital there.
Don't get those confused. There's a history there.
Manny Pacquiao.
That's it's a very famous Manchester name. Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury, guys.
Tyson Fury, okay.
Nice,
okay.
nice.
I know that name. Yep, I'm just not a boxing guy. Sorry, everybody.
This next one, English film director. He directed The Birds, Rear Window, Vertigo.
I don't think this is a real.
Psycho?
I don't think it's a real person.
Psycho?
No, I forget his
The
name.
Birds,
No.
Vertigo.
You've never heard of those movies?
Yeah, I know. I know it.
I've heard of The Birds, not Vertigo. Now I'm out on this one.
Great, guys.
No, I know who he is. I just can't remember his name. I have a tiny.
Great, me too. I also know exactly who he is. Just can't remember his name.
Alfred Hitchcock.
All right. This person was an American dentist, gambler, and gunfighter.
Malcolm
And
X.
dentist?
Yeah, the
Malcolm X.
Okay.
Oh my.
He was in a gunfight at the OK Corral.
You're my Huckleberry.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah. Who is that?
You're my Huckleberry. It's in the movie.
I'll
It's
give
a
you,
Doc
I'll give you
Holliday.
that. Yes,
Yep,
that's
and
Doc
he's
Holliday.
Val Kilmer, and then Val Kilmer got throat cancer and couldn't do it anymore, and yeah, it's a bad deal.
Val Kilmer.
Okay, Doc
Okay,
Holliday.
fine. Here's
Thank
your
you.
last one. He was born in Romania. He is 43 years old. He was in Captain America: The Winter Soldier. I, Tonya.
I, Tonya. It's a movie about Tonya Harding.
The Winter Soldier.
It's Kerrigan.
Oh, wait, the actor. I was saying the actor Winter Soldier.
Is it the guy who got run over by a snow? He got run over by a
Nope.
snowmobile.
Nope.
Okay.
He plays Hawkeye.
Brendan Fraser.
No, who plays the Winter Soldier?
God, I don't even know who the Winter Soldier is.
Oh
I
my
watch
God, y'all are
sports.
so. Yeah, you don't apparently watch boxing. So Sebastian Stan.
It's not a real person.
Again, I have tiny brain. I don't.
There was one more. There was one more, but I figured if those ones were too difficult for you, that
Yeah.
final one wasn't. Even
Yeah. Happy birthday to all of those who Addie just named. Alfred Hitchcock. Congrats. Yeah.
I watched
That's Addie
the-
Bates producing. Laura Jimenez runs the board. To Armin Williams, Colin Jones, Bruce Gilbert, and Ryan McGuire, thank you for a job. To Dan Miller, the voice of the Lions, thanks for joining the show. You Better You Bet is coming up. We'll see you tomorrow from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. Eastern Time. In the meantime, it's Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. This has been and always will be the Drake Toll Show.